You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Kind of heard that.
Hey, folks, welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about
How we game.
I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
Lieutenant Dan.
And today we are talking about how you game because it's the Thursday Night Live call-in show. My man Rob with the Caucasian DJ horn.
Yeah, there you go. Got Lieutenant Dan over there. Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan in the house. Today's show, we're going to talk about 2025. This is the last episode of the year, of 2025.
This is Thursday? Yeah, I guess so.
The last Thursday of the
I
year.
hadn't thought about it too much. Yeah, you're right.
And remember, I turned these into episodes on the podcast. So I think it's like 44 episodes that we published this year on the podcast.
Counted it.
So it's great content for y'all. Today, we're going to focus in on 2025 and the top 3 games that we desire to play in 2025 that we have yet to play. We'll talk a little bit about what's in the news, topics that we've seen that are interesting to us. And then we'll also get into This Week in Gaming, games that we've played, and then our OGG, our other geeky goodness. We'll talk about other things outside the board gaming realm specifically.
Yep.
And I'm also going to give you guys a rundown of my Christmas haul. I think I posted up on the topics. It looks like I'm the only one with a Christmas haul. Everybody else was making good decisions.
Got quite a stack over there.
Yeah, I didn't get a single game this year.
Man, well,
I got a stack here. Robert's like, is that my stool?
He got enough to make up for it because, yeah, I mean, that's higher than my normal seat over there.
So I'll go through my Christmas haul. That'll be today's episode.
Nice.
So thank you all for joining us tonight. I want to give a shout out to our friends at the Board Game Rundown, Tim and Mike. They were on last night for a Christmas stream. Wayne was watching. I was watching. They
nice.
gave us shout outs.
Okay.
They talked about some of the highlights for them in 2024.
Sweet.
And we were on the highlight reel.
Woo.
So them spending time with us was great. So I want to give them a shout out for that.
Cool.
But let's get into our main topic so we can then open up the phone lines. We're going to open up phone lines at 9:30-ish.
Ish. Yeah, so you better put a big ish on that.
It is an ish on there. Everything I do has an ish. So 9:30-ish, we will open up the phone lines. But we're going to start off with our main topic tonight. And our main topic is going to be games in 2025 that we want to play that we've never played before, either games or expansions. So it could be an expansion to a game that you already own that you want to play, but you've never played the expansion, or it could be a game. It'll be our top 3.
Okay, mine are Arkham Horror. 3 different expansions to
They're
Arkham
all
Horror,
expansions?
right? Hey, Dan agrees with that. Yeah. 3 different scenarios.
We'll go 3, 2, 1, whatever order you want to put them in. I know some of us really don't have a specific order. I am a little more excited about some than others. And then we'll give our honorable mentions afterwards to games that are on our list that we want to play.
All right, what's the order here?
So 3, 2, and then 1. We'll go backwards. We'll start West Coast and work our way in.
Uh-oh.
So it's going to go Mike, Dan, and then Carlos, and then Rob. I think you're the farthest east.
Let's zigzag across the country. Let's do that first.
You like that.
Yeah.
My man Mike, all the way in Washington State. What's the number 3 game that you desire to play in
no particular
2025?
order. Yeah.
But number 3. No particular order, but number 3.
Are you guys going to pull up BGG for photos or how?
I can do that.
We can try. Carlos can grab a keyboard here. Yeah.
Let me move my
I can do it if you wanna.
new Stanley mug.
If you want me to type them in, I can do it either way.
All right. So mine, I think mine are going to be in the order that I hope to get them played. So number 3 is at the bottom of the list, but that doesn't mean very much.
No, because my list is like 18 deep.
Well, I was
should we
going to say.
Should we talk first about how we did our lists? Does that matter?
Yeah. So this is, I think, the somewhat rules that Carlos set
Last
for
minute.
this were games that we might have dabbled with just to like maybe get the hang of it, but not really played. These are pretty much games that we have not played at all for the most part.
They could be games that are out now or games that are coming out in the coming year, from what I understand.
It doesn't matter when they came out. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Okay.
Mine are, I don't have any in this list. I couldn't think of really any that were coming out in 2025. I mean, I got a huge list.
I got some in here that are 2025 specific titles.
Yeah, I mean, I could have added more if I wanted to, but anyway, so I'll get started.
Great radio.
that pretty much covers it, right?
Yeah.
All right, so my number 3 game that I want to get played this year is Uprising: Curse of the Last Emperor. So this one, originally, this was a Kickstarter, and they did do a second Kickstarter for expansions and such. But this is when did this come out? I'm looking for the year here.
He's pulling the BGG here now. What year?
2021.
There you go.
Designer is Cornelius Kremen, Powell Mazur, and Dirk Sommer. Published by Nemesis Games.
Yep, this was their first game that they ever did. And this is basically a 4X cooperative. It's a cooperative 4X with asymmetrical powers, and you are battling against 2 enemy NPCs. But the twist, the Shamalama Ding Dong twist in this is if any one of the, and you are playing, there is like a winner though. Like if you have the most points, you're going to be the winner, even though it's co-op. But if any of the other people that you are playing with die, the game ends and everybody loses. So even though it is cooperative, there is a defined winner, and you're still trying to keep everybody in the game for the most part, because like I said, if anybody croakies, then the game ends. This has a pretty high rating.
Yeah, it does. I'll say 8.4 on the BGG.
This is a longer game from what I understand. The artwork and table presence is amazing with this game. This, I think, was one of the first games that I remember seeing, like, before it became kind of big. Was they have not lucite standees, but they are colored, but they are plastic standees.
Acrylic?
Kind of like acrylic, but they are screen printed and they're colored though. So I don't know if you can pull up some other images.
Do we have any pictures now?
Yeah, it's been a big thing with the printed acrylic, where they literally print colored stickers on this acrylic, so it's double-sided with full colored. I mean, it's way better than just like a standee.
Yeah, but it's not acrylic, so you'll see how they're actually colors of the
Okay,
factions.
so it's like a plastic that has the screen printing on it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I see that.
And like I said, this has like that thick black outline type artwork that I really like.
Cell shading? Dan, I think Dan knows it more. Dan, is it cell shading?
I would.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call it cell shading, but yeah, it's more of a cartoonish / realistic kind of appeal to it. But again, I know this has an 8.4 rating. I'm not sure if this is quite justified, or if it's one of those backers like, I own it, so I'm going to give it a good score. I really hope it's a good game. It's one of those games that I think is going to be very hard for me to get to the table, just because of the possible complexity and the length of the game, because I've heard some of these games can go 3 to 4 hours. So, and with everybody being very asymmetrical, I think it may suffer from possibly the root syndrome, where it's very hard for somebody to learn their faction, or teach somebody their faction, because they're so different. So anyway, my number 3 is Uprising: Curse of the Last Emperor.
All right.
My man Dan.
I haven't heard of that thing, so I'm interested. If you play it, I'm interested in your report. But yeah, let's throw it to Dan.
Yeah.
Well, all of my games are going to be things that have been out for a while, because I pay no attention to what's coming out anymore. Just don't care, because I have such a big backlog of stuff that I need to get to.
Yeah.
So to keep myself disciplined, I don't even look at what's coming out. That way I don't worry about it.
Good for you.
So we've been playing Cascadia a lot here at our house. Me and Sarah like that one a lot, and we've gone through all the iterations of the cards over and over again and stuff. We really like the game, so we finally broke down, and I bought a game for the first time since the store closed. Yeah, we ordered the Landmarks expansion for Cascadia.
Oh,
Cool.
and we're excited to add a little bit more complexity to the game.
Yeah, just switch it up a little bit if you played it a bunch. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. We usually when we play it, we usually play it 2 or 3 times, and we usually get it out once a week. So
Okay. I forget what this one adds. I remember there's several things that it adds. I know that the chatter has been that the landmarks part of it, which is the name of the expansion, actually is not that great. But there was something else. I don't know if anybody knows. There was something
I
else
have it.
It added. Okay, that people really like, and so. Carlos is going to grab the box here, and we'll look and see. But I can't remember what it adds.
Okay.
It adds a couple different things, but he's scrambling up there to find
I
it.
heard the same thing, Rob, that the landmarks portion of it was like
Yeah.
not
Like,
the greatest part of the expansion, but everything else was like really good and worth integrating with it.
Right.
So it's got the landmarks, but then it's got the wildlife. So new wildlife scoring cards.
Yeah, I knew that. Yep. It's got more of that. Yep.
Yep.
It's got the landmarks. Let's see.
There was something else. I can't remember.
I've opened
It's
it, but I
been a
haven't
while.
played it yet.
Oh, yeah. It's not even punched. Yep. Unpunched.
that's weird.
What is it? It's more wildlife tokens, more wildlife cards.
Yeah, I can't recall. There was something else that it adds to the game. I don't know if anybody in the chat's
It's on my list to
familiar,
play
but,
because my wife also likes landmark or Cascadia.
Cascadia.
It's also a big, like we just bought for my son's family copies of Cascadia because it's such a beloved title at our house too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't remember. Yeah, I
Very
played
cool.
it a handful of times, but yeah, whatever it is, maybe somebody will can post up later what it is, or we'll take a look at it closer. But there's another big part of it that it adds to the game that people really liked that part of it, and people are like, wow, then it's actually named landmarks, but landmarks actually isn't the exciting part of it. It was kind of eh. But yeah, I know it adds more cards, more scoring, like you say, more tokens, more wildlife and stuff like that. So it's I've heard it's a good expansion. Yeah.
My number 3 is in line with Dan's number 3 because of the love of Cascadia in my house. Harmonies keeps coming up as a game that it's like Cascadia. If you like Cascadia, you're supposed to love Harmonies. I think Wayne has talked about it many, many times. It is on my list as a game I desire to play this year. Going to try to do it without buying it. We'll see how that goes.
Sure. Okay.
We will see how that goes. But Harmonies is about landscapes and habitats, but it's done in a way where everything has to do with synergizing. Like as you're playing things, you're synergizing things, but it's similar themes. So it is on my 2025 list of games I want to play. Not because I want to replace Cascadia, but as like Dan is dealing with, you kind of play it out, right? You can play it out.
Yeah.
We bought landmarks. I read the rules, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to play this yet. Like it adds a level of complexity. So I think maybe shifting to Harmonies can keep the same theme with different mechanisms, so it kind of keeps it going at the house. So for my number 3, I'm going Harmonies.
Nice. Do you want to just give us a rundown on the designer and all that good stuff?
Oh, Harmonies. It is designed by Johan Buenavento.
I just want to see you try.
Why?
Yeah.
Why did you do that? Nobody. People can go to BGG themselves and look it up. Don't
He did it
don't
for
make
the
them
first-
do that.
He did it for the first one, so he did it voluntarily on the first one. So I didn't know if we were doing it as a thing now.
Johan.
Johan,
Yeah.
designer. Okay,
JB.
JB.
My man.
There you go.
8.0 on the rating. So yeah, I keep hearing about Harmonies. I have actually not ever played this. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I've heard that it's a fairly light, fairly quick. What does it say for playtime? 35 to 45 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, or 30 to 45 minutes.
Play it on Board Game Arena. See if you like it.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a try. I keep seeing it pop up on there. So
Oh, is it on there?
Yeah, when somebody
Yeah.
else starts a game, I'll have to start it up so I can learn it. Yeah. Speaking of which, I started a game of Finca, which we talked about last week, and nobody joined, so it abandoned after 4 or 5 days. So, just saying, I was being encouraged to start some games. I started 5 games, and 3 of them filled up, but
Start better games,
2 of them
Robert.
abandoned. I
Start
guess
better
so.
games.
I guess
Yeah.
people just don't like it. Yeah.
Robert, you're number 3.
My number 3. I'm going to start with. I got a couple of games that came out in the last year that have been really super popular, and so the first 2 on my list, but I'm just go with the first one. Obviously, is going to be Arcs. Arcs. I've heard the good, I've heard the bad. It was super hyped, and then people have cooled on it. But I got to play Arcs. I mean, I got to try it. With it sounds cool. It's got the space theme. It's got this whole trick taking in space, kind of a 3X from what I've heard, type of play to the game. So I'm curious about it. I guess that's the best thing I can say is I'm curious. It looks cool, looks interesting, looks like a new twist, new mechanisms, and well, not new mechanisms, but using mechanisms in a different way with this kind of trick-taking part of it. And but yeah, it's a big game. It was 8.2 on the rating there, 60 to 120 minutes. So I mean, you're probably looking at 3+ hours, I would imagine, on your first play. And Mike, you said you've played this one time?
Yeah, I played this once, and it's funny that you mentioned this because I was just at my friend Scott's house for. It's been a while since we got together game, and I just got back from there, and we were talking about arcs, and I've only played it once. And my take on it is it's a good game. I don't know if I'm quite 100% sold on it.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of puzzled as to why it was getting so much hype. And maybe I'm missing something because, again, I've only played it once.
Yeah.
But even my friend Scott, who has played it multiple times, he's like, it's a good game. He pretty much said the same thing. It's a good game. I just don't know if I'm 100% sold on it. So,
yeah,
but I would definitely say it's worth playing at least once or twice.
Yeah, that's what like I said, this one for me is just curious now. I'm just curious to see, what did I miss out on? I mean, is this something the guys that shut up and sit down loved Arcs? I mean, they named it one of their best games of the year. So
what's his name? Did multiple videos.
Yeah, right. Did a learn to play, did a review, did all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he really liked it. But so again, I'm curious about it. I don't know that I'll love it, but I gotta see what all the what all the bark is about. All the barking was about. Yeah, all the Arcs hype was about. So I need to try this one out, and I know at least one person in our group has it now. So I'm gonna give Arcs a try.
Cool. Arcs has that. Whenever you talk about it, it's got that Borat question mark sound at the end of the sentence, like Arcs. Yeah, Arcs. Like
something like that.
It's questionable. Like
maybe. Yeah, I gotta try it. I gotta just see. Yeah, that's my.
I got two questions real quick. First one is about Arc. Since Mike has played it, I'm looking at a picture of it, and does it have a million pieces like it does in the picture and take up like the whole table? Is it a big game?
No, I don't think it takes up I don't think you need a big table to play it.
Okay, maybe they just have it spread out.
Yeah, I mean, I played a 3-player game of it, and we were on like your typical size table, and we probably could have handled all 4 players if you wanted to.
All right.
Yeah, I would say even that picture looks very spread out.
Dan, we were at Dice Tower, and when we were playing, trying to set up for Thunder Alley, there was a group playing it a few tables down, and I spent some time over there. They were able to get 4 players on just the standard Dice Tower 2 tables. You know how they have the 2 slim tables?
Yeah.
Okay. So if that gives you any indication, it's not huge.
Yep.
All right.
Question.
And then
I've heard that before.
Yeah. Question 2 is, since we had people put their lists on the Discord, do you want me to read those people's number 3s, or do you want to wait and do those at the end after we're all done?
We'll do the people's selection. Can't say people's choice. That's copyrighted Dice Tower.
Got a couple of them.
The people's selection we'll do at the end.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Sweet.
Cool. All right, back to the top.
So back to Mike for his number 2. Oh, I'm writing all these down on my my Kindle Scribe. I'm scribing these down so that in 2026, as we roll into the new year, we can come back and check to see did we get them played and what did we think of them.
No. All right.
Yep.
I'm scribing it down.
All right.
All right. So my number 2 is a 2023 title. This is The Witcher: Old World.
Okay. I'm a big fan of The Witcher. I've mentioned several times that me and the wife just finished the series, so we're waiting, or the 3 seasons that are out so far, so we're waiting for the next season to come out.
Mm.
Yeah. So this was, I think when this came out, it was kind of big. I know Man vs. Meeple was all hot and heavy over it, and it's, typical. You're being a Witcher. You're going around. You're battling big monsters. I didn't go all in on this one for the Kickstarter. I just did the base pledge. I think this was probably right around the time where I was just like, minis are getting out of hand. And this one's been sitting. This is one of the few that I still have in shrink just because again, it's hard to get people to play games like this, and hard to get it to the table because if I don't learn it, nobody else is going to learn it. So, but now I'm looking at the weight here, and it's only a 2.87, so maybe it's not as complex as I thought it was originally, and it does play up to 5 people, and it is soloable. So
no excuses.
No excuses on this one. Talking about it right now and looking at it, this is and it's got an 8.0 rating. I don't think this is so much of we backed it and spent a crap ton of money on it, so we better give it a good rating. I think this is genuinely a good game from what I've gathered from reviews and such. So
that's what I've heard.
Yeah, so I may break this one out sooner than later and just set up a solo game and see how it goes, or two-hand it and play 2 different people and just play different styles to see how that pans out. So
when you get back to Florida, bring it with you. I'm interested in this one. I'd like to see, because I have heard good things about it, and again, I'm a pretty big fan of the show now, being that we're in the middle of watching it. So yeah, I'd like to try this one.
Yeah. Speaking of The Witcher, are you into PC games or video games, Ron?
I am more on the PlayStation, Sony guy. So but I did download the director's cut of the first Witcher game.
Okay,
and I haven't played it yet. So
okay, because they did a world premiere during the Video Game Awards a week or so ago, and Witcher 4 is going to be coming out.
Nice.
The odd thing is, and I know when this Kickstarter was live and people were, for good or bad, regardless of how you look at it, supposedly in the Witcher lore, there are no female Witchers. Like, that just isn't a thing.
You could not bring up that third rail that's been taking the internet by storm.
I guess. I don't know. So anyway, the developers of the game made a change and added female Witchers. And again, I could be wrong on this, but my understanding was there were no
females could not survive the drinking of the potion that turned into a Witcher.
Whatever it was. So in Witcher 4, the way that they made it seem, it was just a cut, like a video, like in-game footage. The main protagonist is a female Witcher. Now, I don't know if they're going to give you the option of being female or male, but the joking in my mind, like I'm thinking this through, I'm like, is she going to be as promiscuous as the male Witcher in all the video games? Because it's almost like soft porn in some of these scenes.
That's
it's kind of like, whoa, like that's in a video game? All right, So it's kind of like, how are they going to play that out? Is that going to be the same? But anyway, my number 2 is The Witcher Old World.
Nice. Good choice. Okay. And for those who are I see numbers kind of go up and down, people tuning in. So we're going over our top 3 games that we would like to get played in the new year. So in 2025, games that we're going to make an effort to play, games that we've never have played before, really, unless we've kind of just dabbled to learn the rules. But these are games that either aren't out yet, that are coming out in 2025, or games that we just have been around and we're just trying to get played. So
I think we call those games.
Games, yeah.
Games that aren't out yet, and then games that have been around forever.
Yeah,
I think we just call them games.
Just all games.
Yeah. So speaking of games
you haven't played, but yes, go ahead, Dan.
Now, Dan, you're number 2.
Yeah, before I get into that, The Witcher Old World, that was one of the ones that I had still in shrink, and one of the ones I decided to sell because with the store and all the Kickstarters that came in, I had 20, 30 games of this size that are like campaign style miniature games. I was like, I gotta make cuts somewhere, and this is one of the ones that I let go too.
Okay.
Unfortunately, not because I thought it was gonna be a bad game. I just figured, why let it sit here for another couple of years for no reason?
I was surprised. Out of the curated people that I do subscribe to, there were at least 2 or 3 folks that said they were surprised as to what a good game the Witcher game was. I'm with Dan. I don't think it would have been a game I would have kept, because these IP games. You
Oh,
just
yes,
don't
you
think they're
would've.
going to be good. Oh, that's you're right. That's
Yeah,
a lie.
That's you.
Back to Dan's number 2.
Dan.
Which brings me to number 2. It's a game that I learned. I played one time just to learn the rules, and then I've been wanting to get back to it for a long time. And it's a solo only game, and I think Rob has a little bit of it. It's Final Girl by Van
Oh,
Ryder
yeah.
Games.
Ooh,
good
yeah.
one.
It's a solo only game. I have all of the content for it, and I've been dying to get to it. I'm a huge horror movie fan, so this is going to do. It's going to scratch that itch for horror movies and solo games and trying to get away from killers and all that good fun stuff all at the same time.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Isn't there a
This-
Santa edition of this one?
There is.
Yep.
There's the Krampus.
Krampus.
Yeah.
Krampus, yep.
Mhm.
This would have made my list if I could have had more than 3 games, I think.
Okay. So you haven't,
Yeah,
ever played, Mike, or?
I haven't played. I have all of season 1. I decided to go against season 2 because it was so freaking expensive. That was one
Yeah.
of the deterrents, and the other deterrent was I still hadn't played season 1, so I kind of held off on that.
You said
Yeah, I
you
got-
dabbled in it, or?
Yeah, I played one of the scenarios, one of the boxes with one of the killers to try it out, and I mean it's very similar to Hostage Negotiator in the system
Right.
and how it plays.
Yep.
But I mean, there's a lot more to it than Hostage Negotiator because you're actually moving around the locations and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the first 2 seasons, all of it, and the Krampus one too. And
Nice.
when you were asking us to make this list, I was looking at the shelf. I was like, why has this been sitting here for a couple of years and I've not
yeah.
got to it yet?
It's a
So-
great game. It's right up your alley. I mean, but yeah,
You two guys played, right?
Rob taught me,
Yeah.
and it immediately made it to bottom of my top 20, but it made it on the top 20 just off of that one teach. I had so much fun chasing that guy down. It
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
like playing Friday the 13th, the video game,
Yep.
There you go.
because it was the camping one.
Mhm.
From
Oh,
the
yeah.
NES days back in the Nintendo 64 or the regular Nintendo days, that
Yeah.
Friday the 13th game. That's what it felt like. It was great.
Yeah, it's definitely not a campaign or a legacy game, but each of
Nope.
the final girls, their first time they beat a bad guy, because you can mix up the scenarios, you can mix up the locations, but the first time they beat a bad guy, they have a little envelope that you get to open that adds something. And I've only done it once with one of the final girls, but it gave a weapon that was kind of specific to her that I got to now add into my deck to mix into all the future games. So whoever I'm using, I can always have the access to that weapon. So they each have just a little nugget there that makes it kind of cool to try the different final girls, to beat the game with each of the ones. And it's not super. I'm looking at the weight there. What does it say? 2.73. So yeah, it's just a little above average, but it's not super light. There is a little bit of rules upkeep. I've played it a handful of times. Every now and then I'll catch myself missing a rule, and I'm like, crap, I gotta try to account for whatever I messed up. But it is good. It's a lot of fun, and it definitely gives you that feel of chasing down the bad guy. So yeah,
Cool.
good choice. Like it.
Yeah.
All right, that brings me to my number 2. So we went sketchy, questionable cutscenes to murdering to my number 2, Deliverance. The reason I have Deliverance on this list, it is a dungeon crawl, but it's a dungeon crawl that when it first got announced, I remember Lonnie Kitchen and I were like super fanboy excited, like could not wait for Lowen to get this game out. We bought t-shirts, we took selfies together with our t-shirts. We were so proud of the support we were giving this guy. We were coming together to pray for this game. It's a Christian themed board game, dungeon crawl set in modern days where you're fighting the principalities of evil through the spiritual side that are trying to influence and impact the folks in this small town in California. And it's got a story connected to it. And I got it last year. And then Dan came in just a couple of months ago and hooked me up. He got me some minis. He got me the coins and the mat. So I have everything except excuses. I have no excuses as to why this game hasn't hit the table yet.
Play it.
Other than Massive Darkness 2 and Hero Quest. So Hero Quest and Massive Darkness 2 kind of took up our dungeon crawler time this year. So I'm really just like I'm going to dedicate time. 2025 will be the year that I will provide you a review, a Beans on Deliverance from Andrew Lowen of Lowen Games. My number 2.
And it's soloable. So there really is no excuse.
None.
Another solo one. Yeah. And,
Also, if
go ahead.
I was going to say, if Carlos talks up enough and people are excited about it, I still got a couple copies for sale.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Reach out to my man Dan. He can be found on our Discord. Join into the Discord under Dan, as in Dan, Dan.
Oh, that's hard to spell. Spell it again.
Yeah.
Delta Alpha November.
Lieutenant
Dan.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
you don't
no,
have to put the lieutenant in. Just,
no,
Dan.
just Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just Dan.
Just Dan for short.
In our Discord.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what your review on this one is. I've heard really good reviews and I've heard some mediocre reviews, so I'm excited about you playing it just so I can hear what because I think you'll give us the true straight on it. So
I don't know, brother. It's a Christian game, so I'm gonna have a bent to it already.
You think you're
Already
okay.
biased.
There's already gonna be. I'm already gonna be biased to
I
it.
thought you were gonna give us a straight.
I think maybe we need to play it. Get
Maybe.
Dan here, get it on the table, get the first scenario done,
I'm all
and
for
then
that.
we can do a 3-player like
I
conversation
can do
about
that.
it. So
I
we'll
can't
pick a
believe that,
Thursday.
Rob. No, Rob. He said
Uh,
some people like it, some people don't like it. Are you trying to tell me there's something out there that some people like and some
Oh
don't?
no! This one, when this one came out, it was extremely high hopes, much press, much push for it, and then the first reviews that came out were all positive, and then all of a sudden I started seeing bad reviews of it. I was like, oh, okay. So
But the real question is
Well-
what kind of game is it? Is it a game that comes out in 2025, or is it a game that came out before 2025?
oh yeah.
Well, I mean, also, of all the religious themed or religion based games that I've seen, with the exception of a few smaller ones, this is like they actually hired a graphic designer and an artist and got molds made for the minis. I mean, this one looks better than anything else I've seen that's
For
in
sure.
that same category.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yep.
Yeah, because I do try to scoop up any of the Christian games, and man, they're hot garbage. My people, we got to get it together.
Yeah.
Like if we're gonna evangelize, and we're gonna try to bring people in. Like the games we're putting out, ain't it? This is one that I will say can be.
Although you're really enjoying, what was the
Jodak loves it
What's the recent one
as a solo.
yeah.
Oh, Ezra
Nehemiah.
Nehemiah. That's my number 4
That's a
on my
good
top
one.
20.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, but that's Shem Phillips. I mean,
well,
that's,
hey, he can't go wrong,
What is that
right?
supposed to mean?
Yeah.
I hate everything he's made before Ezra and Nehemiah.
Oh, and all of a
But
sudden-
apparently, I'm wrong. All the Euro gamers
You're
love
just
all this
biased
stuff.
again,
they're good.
man.
They're
That's
good.
all it is. You're
Yep,
biased.
absolutely. All right.
Rob,
My
you're number 2.
Yep. I'm going to go, again, another game that came out last year, big production, a lot of press on it before, a lot of hype. Andromeda's Edge. This is a kind of a reskin of... I've drawn a blank on it. What was this the redo of?
Dwellings of Eldervale.
Dwellings of Eldervale. Well, I always want to just say Everdale, but this is Dwellings of Eldervale. So set in space. Everdale, Eldervale. So this is set in space. They moved it into space. They kept some of the same concepts, but they changed up enough of it that I hear that it is definitely a different feeling game. So Luke Laurie. That's Maximus Laurie. Okay, I think are they brothers? I want to say, yeah, I think they're brothers that designed this one. But weight is a 3.67, so this is a fairly heavy game. Actually, I don't know what Dwellings was. I'm going to say it probably was a little lighter, but not quite. So 80 to 160 minutes. I mean, this is a pretty big game. I got to play Dwellings twice with Nick Oben's nice copy.
I think I played the one time with you during
Did
that
you?
one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think that was probably at over at
Armada.
Armada, yeah, Armada Games. I think that was the first time he pulled it out, and we got a chance to play it. He had the cool little bases on all the monsters that when you moved them, they made noises and growled, and yeah, it was kind of annoying. We did it once, and then we turned them off. But but this is a big. Really a Euro game. I mean, it's Euro. You're trying to move around the board. You're sharing spaces, but you're building things on the board. You're moving things on tracks. There's a deck building aspect to it. You're hand building and getting cards and playing them. This is it's one of those games that kind of throws in a bunch of different mechanisms, and it felt like one of the games that I believe, at least with Dwellings, that did it well. A lot of these games just kind of mix these popular mechanisms just to try to be with whatever's cool and moving. But a lot of those games, I feel like they're just throwing everything in there. But this one seemed to dwellings seem to make sense to me. And I know, again, a couple people in our group that have this one, so this is another one that I know I'll get an opportunity to play. And just as a side note, I left off games on my Shelf of Shame. We talked about this just for a moment before we started the show tonight. But my hope is that my Shelf of Shame games will get played, and hopefully a good chunk of them this year. So as my honorable mentions, I'll have a few that are on my Shelf of Shame at the end of the list here. But this is another game that I don't own. I know I've got access to it. So again, kind of no excuses. I'm going to get this one played this year, 2025.
And if it's not on my Shelf of Shame, it will be.
Yeah,
so
well,
anything that I put in here will be on my Shelf of Shame.
There you go. So, that's my number 2.
All right, we're going into number one, the final, your top game that you desire to play in 2025. Mike, lead us off.
All right, so this is a 2022 title. This is one that I backed on Kickstarter or GameFound, big surprise. And I think all 3 of you guys have played this game before, and maybe you can fill me in on whether or not it's actually worth the investment here. But this is My Father's Work.
Yes.
I was going to make a joke and be like, it's garbage. No, I can't say that. If you haven't played this one, yes.
It's a must play, I think. Yeah.
Dan, have you played this one also? I think you did, didn't you?
Yes, it's a good game. It's one that I got rid of, but I mean, not because it was a bad game, but it's not going to make it to the table at my house. And when you got to whittle it down from 2,500 games, you just got to get rid of some stuff.
Yeah, true. And I hear you. I know that from when you guys have discussed this in the past, you're like, it's a good game, but there are some times where it's just like there is a lot of reading going on. And
there is. I like that though.
Me too.
And I like that too.
None of that stopped me from loving the game.
And from what I understand, it's narrated now. So when we played it, it was all reading. And from what I understand now, the full app is out and it is narrated.
Yeah, there is a full app out for. I thought the app was always there. So interesting.
No, that was something that they had intended, and it was kind of a snafu when the game came out. The app was supposed to be ready to go, and they had some technical issues. And so for the first probably 6 months that this game was out, you could go online and you could read all the text, but it was not. They didn't have all the narration in there, and there were some bugs in the app and a few things. So when we played it, we didn't. I don't think we ran into any bugs, but we did have to read pages and pages of text, and so we kind of took turns reading it. But from now I understand it is fully narrated.
Okay, perfect. And it says 180 minutes. Did it take you guys like a full 3 hours?
Yes, every time.
But we played it twice. Like
I played it 4 times. But,
we had so much fun, and we played the same scenario twice to really kind of understand the depth of each scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because there are many games you'll play, and you'll play the scenario twice. It's the same damn thing. Excuse me. Right. Sorry, we're not after hours yet.
Same dang thing.
It is My Father's Work, so they are damned in there.
Yeah, okay.
But man, I'll tell you what. It swung so far from one side to this other side of the spectrum that it made me want to play it a third time.
Yeah.
To see if we could find the middle ground. So it just
the story branches, and so depending on choices you make, just playing the same scenario,
the generational impact to the town is
change the
legit.
story. Yeah.
There are plenty of opportunities in the game to be a chaos agent, because when I was playing it and it came to my turn to pick things, I would burn buildings down. I mean, you could do all kinds of stuff.
Do we build a hospital or do we burn down the orphanage?
We burn down the orphanage.
Let it burn. No.
All
and
right,
the production,
cool.
we can't go without mentioning the production. I mean, the production is off the charts on this one. This is one of the best productions I've ever seen. So,
But it's all based off of a basic worker placement system.
Oh, yeah.
So you're kind of grabbing resources to build your monsters. It's fun. It's just...
It's really good.
And I think the standard edition comes with the real pretty vials and like all the components are wood screen printed. Like it is just gorgeous.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did we help you make it your number one?
Oh, absolutely. This only confirms why it's my number one and why I should get it to the table over the other ones. You know,
if you like worker placement and you don't mind the story, it's a must play.
I think the people that have complained the most are the people that just don't want to deal with story. But I really think because there are times when a person has to read quietly, and make a decision
Right.
that will impact everyone else in the future.
Yep, there are some secret things.
I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Some
Yeah, I'm
people
okay
were
with
not.
that. Yeah. All right. Cool. No, this I'm excited to get to the table even more now. Then, sweet.
My man Dan, you're number one.
My number one's pretty obvious with you guys, and I'm sure it's going to show up on some of your honorable mentions, but it's Purple Haze, the Vietnam game.
Yep.
I'm on the page here, and they call it a part story creation, part tactical level war game, and part campaign game, and that is all 100% accurate. It is the game that I'm most excited to play. I've played it a little bit to learn it, and I'm working my way. I've already started the campaign and started filming it today, actually, and I'm getting ready to set up the rest of the stuff and go through all, I think, 7 or 8 chapters of it and get it all up on my channel, but it's going to take a while to work through it all. I'm actually standing in the middle of it right now trying to make sure I don't knock anything over.
Nice. Yeah,
I don't know if I can move my camera. Let me see. You can like see it set up all
there
around me.
Nice. Yep. And your
yeah,
channel, it's the Gray Gamer or Gray Board Gamer?
Gray Board Gamer.
Gray Board Gamer. There you go. So if people are interested in checking that out, I'm interested. Luckily, I get to know you so that I get to hopefully dabble in it and test it out sometime. But yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. Yeah, I am lucky.
Oh, wow.
Lucky to know Dan. So
This one is on my short list.
yeah, me too. It was in my top 5. Probably.
Yes, it was in my top 5. Almost. If it wasn't for the fact that I knew Dan would put it on this list,
Yeah.
it would have made my top 3.
Nice.
Like it had a spot in my top 3. I heard about this game years ago when they first began developing it through the Players Aid YouTube channel. They got to play a prototype version of it, and it was interesting then, but it was very much more an RPG style. I really thought it was going to be an RPG. And
Yeah.
I was like, an RPG in Vietnam. I was a little, not turned off, but a little concerned. Like, do I really want to RPG that theme, right? I know people that fought there. I worked with guys that fought there, right, in Vietnam. But they've made it now more combat war game, strategy game with narrative, and that just ramped up the excitement. So the big question I have for you, Dan, I know we've gone long, folks. Sorry, stick with us. Dan, the question I have is, as you play these scenarios for your channel, can we insert ourselves into a scenario so you can keep it going, or do you have to break it down back to like the intro scenario to be able to teach us a little bit or watch us demo it?
No, I know the first scenario that I'm filming right now. It's kind of a stripped down version of it. They take it easy on you. The first scenario, like there's a limit to the type of equipment you can use and things like that. But I don't think so. The rules are still pretty much the same. It's just going to get a little bit bigger each time is what it looks like. Like you're going to have more land to cover and more things. This first scenario really only takes place during like a 12-hour span in the game, where some of the other ones might take place over days, I'm thinking.
So I know both of us want to at least play a scenario to see what it feels like. We'll let you decide how best to do that, either by teaching us the first scenario again or letting us come into your campaign that you're recording. But 2025, this is one that Robert.
Yeah, it looks like fun. Yeah.
We want in.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, it's really good. And just playing the first scenario a couple of times to learn it. Each time I've played it, I've used different people in my squad, and some of the decisions I've made and things that have popped up have been completely different all 3 times. So it's not something that you're going to have to play through once and then not going to get to play it again because it's the same, but it's been completely different. This is the 3rd time I've played the first scenario, and it's different again.
Yeah, I understand there's some good, tough moral decisions you have to make, and I love my campaign games, and this sounds really good to me.
Cool. Yeah, this one's going to have to come with a warning at the beginning of the video because it's Vietnam. They don't shy away from any adult stuff or language or nothing in the game.
Yeah.
That's what the Players Aid did a great review on it, and they talked about those tough decisions and the tough topics. Yeah. So check that one out. The Players Aid YouTube channel. A couple of great guys that talk about war game GMT style games. All right, Rob. We're moving to my
yours
number one. Yeah. My number one is James Odak. His hegemony.
Hegemony.
So James, Jim Odak, I'm gonna have to have you back to the studio. I know we've had you here before to come teach at least. Maybe if we don't finish like pre-show a full game of it, but at least run me through the majority of the game so I can really get an understanding. This one, Hegemony, lead your class to victory. It is class warfare. I think Wayne and I have talked about it live on the show before. We both love politics, talking about economy, talking about the different classes and the impact to them. And I think, my understanding, Hegemony does a bang-up job of letting each player role play a leader of that class, middle class, the state, the corporations, right, to help really provide a teaching tool, I think, into how the U.S. economy works. So
Hegemony.
That one
Hegemony.
Hegemony.
is my number one game that I want to see played in 2025.
It's a good game. It's a long one. I played it once all the way through, and it says 90 to 180 minutes. It's a good 3-hour game. So and the weight on it 4.2. It is complex. This one's got some complexity just to the rules. I know we talked sometime about complexity in winning a game versus complexity of the depth and then the strategy in it. But this one's is fairly complex all the way around. I don't know. 4.2 feels a little heavy to me. You know, maybe a little lighter than that in my mind. It wasn't super heavy. But it's interesting. The role playing part of it is definitely a thing. I mean, you feel like you're representing that group, that class, to some extent. I mean, obviously, you're trying to play the mechanics to win the game to some extent as well, depending on how badly you want to win, I guess. So you can take advantage of some of the rules, but it's a good game. It's just long, so be prepared for the length. Yeah,
It's on my short list.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Robert, you're number one.
So my number one, I cheated a little bit. I cheat a lot on these lists, but I kind of have two games on here that it's the same designer. So it's one game that's a little older and then a game that's coming out in 2025. And so
No, pick one.
Oh, no. It's Lacerda.
If there must be one, which one is it?
Well, it would be the one that I know that's already out that's supposed to be good, which is On Mars. And so I'm talking about Vital Lacerda. So he's the king of the heavy Euros here. So I'm a Euro guy. On Mars has been around. I know there's people in our group that really like On Mars. On Mars is another one of those polarizing games in his group of games. For some people, it's his favorite, their favorite Lacerda. Some of them say it's kind of on his other half. He seems to have a couple of different styles that he goes back and forth on. So I'm curious with On Mars. There's Vital. We're looking at a picture of him here in the back, but On Mars, what is a 4.67 weight? So I understand it's a pretty big teach. But I like the theme. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? I like the theme on this one. Yeah, being on Mars, outer space. Kind of terraforming the planet. Populating Mars. So that part of it seems
terraforming Mars.
Terraforming Mars. Oh no, that's a different game. But that's on my that's over there on my my Hall of Fame list over there. Terraforming Mars. So obviously I like the whole space thing. I like the Mars part name in the game. But
I'm writing down On Mars. We're holding you to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
On Mars is the one.
I think I can get that one played. I know Sam in our group is a big fan of On Mars. I think Jim likes it quite a bit. There's some people over at the
Jim
Tampa
just said
Gaming
it's
Guild.
his third favorite Lacerda.
Oh, okay, his third favorite. So that's not too bad because Lacerda's got about 10.
He's got a bunch.
Ones. Yeah. I mean, he's got more than that, but there's 10 that make the top of a lot of people's lists. So, but yeah, that's good if you're in the top 2 or 3 Lacerdas. My other one, just to throw it in, is Speakeasy. So Speakeasy is a game that's scheduled to come out this year. I've heard
this is on my short list.
Yeah. It's a 3.97 on the weight there, so it seems really on the heavier side. But I understand that for Lacerda, this is a theme heavy game. From what I've heard, Weather Machine was more about the mechanisms, the mechanics, and it was just kind of complexity for complexity's sake, which some people loved that, some people did not. But I understand Speakeasy, the mechanisms are all, prohibition, loading liquor onto cars to transport it from the back alleys, to get it from the the still down the road over to the pub,
greasing palms.
Yeah, greasing palms, doing what you have to do, paying people off, hiring, people to grease the wheels and look the other way in the police department. So from what I understand, this one's really theme heavy. I know we joke around about me not being a theme guy. I've definitely mechanisms first, but this is one that just really seems cool. And I've seen some of the pictures of the meeples, the little cars and the stuff and the loading the barrels on the back of them. It just seems really, really interesting. So
Yeah.
this one's heavy. Looks like it's going to be heavy. It looks like it's going to be a big teach, but I can't wait for Speakeasy to come out. So Vital Lacerda, my cheat on Mars / Speakeasy games I got to get played.
That's our top 3 games we desire to play in 2025. So now I'm going to open up the phone lines.
Yeah, so open the lines.
Yep, we'll open up the phone lines. That way the folks can interrupt us now.
Yep.
But what we're going to do is go through the people's choice of their top 3.
So we had a couple people on the Discord channel. Dan posted up today before the show. If anybody had a list that they didn't know if they were going to be able to call in or not, that they could go ahead and get it up on the Discord, and then we'd go over it. So Dan's got that list handy. He's going to pull that up, and I think it was 2 different people, Dan, that put their lists up there.
Yeah, we'll go with whoever on Discord is Captain Gamer. Carlos knows who that is.
My man Chris out of, I think it's Austin, Texas.
I believe that's right. Yep.
Okay.
Pop and Tot.
So, all right, for his number 3, he has Video Game Champion.
Wayne would be jumping up and down right now.
That's probably on Wayne's list, yeah. So he took that one from Wayne, yep.
Then he has, I don't know how to say that. Luthier? About making instruments?
Yeah, Luthier,
Yes.
yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that how you say it?
Yeah, luthier.
Okay.
It's French, but it's all about making classical instruments and selling them to
Right.
the classical artists. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then his number 1 is Scara Bray.
Scarabray.
Oh, Shem Phillips
Another
again.
Shem Phillips. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
another
Shem Phillips
Garfield
one's
game.
coming out. Yep.
It's another one of those historicals, like what's the Raiders of Scythia?
Raiders of Scythia. Yeah, that's one.
Raiders of the North Sea.
Yep.
Ezra and Nehemiah. His ancient series. I think this one's Celtic based, if I'm right.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
So he's going through all these different civilizations, societies, and using their ancients to create these board games or themes.
With Euro mechanisms.
Yes.
Yay.
Very heavy on the Euro.
Yay for the Euro. And they're pretty. They're not ugly Euros, but they're usually bright colors and pretty nice. Yeah.
This is true. Very true.
Yeah.
This is the way.
That's a good list. I like that list.
I
I
like
would
that list.
say the previous. What was the number 2 on that one?
Luthier. That was on my
that
Yes,
was
short
on
list.
the
Luthier.
short list, too.
That was definitely in my top 5 or top 10. That was just missed probably my top 5. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, we got 2 more people. Looks like James Odak
nice.
listed his also. So
Oh, sweet.
next we got Daryl, Dev88. He has a game called Tend, Tend.
Oh, I backed that one.
I don't know that one. What's that,
That
one about,
is
Mike?
it's a kind of like a roll and write. Think of what's
Hadrian's
that one?
Wall.
What's that?
Hadrian's Wall.
Supposedly it's pretty complex from what it is, but there's scratch offs. Like all the scratch offs are different. It's randomized.
Oh,
and,
yes. I've heard of this. Yes.
Like a lotto?
Yeah. Your
not
player
necessarily.
board.
Yeah, your player board. There's a lot going on in this game, but this was like I ended up backing this at the last second because I was thinking, I don't know if I get to play it. And then I watched a playthrough on Dice Tower, I think. And I was like, oh man, this game is 100% right up my alley. I forgot about this one. This one probably would have been my number 4, number 5 on my list.
Nice.
Oh, actual scratch offs like lotto
Yeah,
tickets.
yeah.
So it's kind of like asymmetrical as you're scratching off this grid, and you're I forget. Yeah, you know more than I do, Mike. But something about you're doing something which allows you to scratch different rows or columns, and you're building patterns, and then as you're scratching stuff off, it gives you bonuses and stuff starts to combo.
Combo-rific.
Yeah, combo-y. Yep. Combo.
I think the scratch off part would interest my wife. Like that's one of the fun things we do on the holidays.
Lotto
get
tickets.
get the lotto tickets. We only do it like at Christmas time.
Yeah.
But the whole family gets around and starts scratching stuff off.
Done that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, no, this looks good. Good choice on this one.
Yep.
All right,
What's
the
next, Dan?
His number 2 is The Anarchy, the follow-up to Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, okay. I don't know much about it, but
Yes, it is the medieval castle one.
yeah.
So it's
Right.
now defending the castle, Man, Garfield is all over these lists right now.
He is, man. Yeah.
He should be paying
They're
us
hot.
to talk about all
They're
these.
hot. They're hot. Okay, and number one.
And the last one he has is Spirit Fire. It's a solo-only story-based
Oh, yeah.
game, like Unsettled, he said.
Orange Nebula.
Orange Nebula. Yep.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
put
know.
a yellow suit on Mike, hide him behind a tree, and let him rub his hands like, yeah.
I hope this makes it out next year. I don't know. I mean, they claim it is, and it may. I really hope it is released soon. Yeah, this supposedly is solo only.
How has Orange Nebula been with hitting their release dates in the past?
You
remember?
They've delivered early and they've delivered late.
Okay.
So on time.
Never
Okay.
on time.
crazy.
Never on time.
I would say they're probably more towards the on time mark than being late. I would say,
Okay.
but that one
new game that they got coming out has me interested.
Vestige.
Vestige,
yes,
yeah. Mhm.
Yes.
in space, like it's.
Yep.
I-
Yeah, that one looks good too. But
I will hunt down a copy of that when it comes out to retail.
Sweet. Yeah. Spiritfire looks really good. Solo only, narrative based type of. Well, I shouldn't say narrative based. It's their line is "You are the game," so it's kind of like a 100% sandbox type of discovery. Exploration discovery type game.
You are the game. I think they stole that from like Nintendo Power Glove back in the day. That slogan.
Get in the game. You are the game.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good list there though. I like those. Yeah.
Oh, we had a
And
late
then-
entrant. Yeah.
Yep, James Odak. He had Speakeasy on his list.
Oh,
Good
nice.
one. Yep.
All right.
Civolution.
Oh yes,
I want to play that
uh-huh.
one. Yeah. Yep.
Castles of Burgundy. It's new,
Daryl-
like even harder version.
Daryl's been teaching that all over the place from what I hear. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All over the place.
All over the place. Yep. Did a BGG. He did it
To the
at,
window, to the
He
wall.
did it at Alex's
Yep.
house. Yeah. He did. Mhm.
Until the
And-
what? Oh, all right.
To the window, to the wall. I'm not sure.
Yep.
ski all over the place.
Oh,
It's teaching
yeah.
it
that's what
everywhere.
it is. Oh, yeah.
What time is it? Is it 10? Oh, it's
After
10 on the nose.
Oh,
yeah.
nailed it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, skeet away. And his last one he has on the list is Tiletum.
Oh,
Am I saying that right?
Toledo.
Tile Toledo.
One of the
Okay.
T series games.
Yeah, one of the T games. Yeah, that one's been out for a couple years now. I would say about 2
Yeah,
years.
this one's been out for a little while. Yeah.
It's a little older one, but yeah, I like
So
to play
I-
that too.
I'm ignorant on what you just said. What do you mean a T series game?
Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan.
Same developer.
Yeah, it's this
Oh,
one guy
okay.
who he makes a bunch of games that start with T, and so it's his T series of games. But there's about 6 of them now, I think, out
Gotcha.
in this series. Yep.
And that's all the contributions.
Thank you,
Those are
folks. For
good
that.
names. Yeah. And also call in. You can also call in and tell
Yeah,
us your
for
top
sure.
three if you'd like.
Yeah.
Actually,
Hey,
Or
they're still
anything
participating.
No, I appreciate that. That's great. Yeah.
let's check out the chat, and then we'll go through our honorable mentions. So in the chat, let's see here. We'll go backwards. James Odak says expansion.
Not sure. if he's-
That's what he
Yeah.
said.
Oh yeah.
There's actually 2 ways to pronounce it, but yep.
Chester
Don't-
Wilson's
don't-
in there. Lotto scratch off going round.
A lot of scratching going. Chester's been hot and heavy in the chat tonight, man. He's
Yeah, he is just, he's got double barreled dad jokes just for days.
Oh, are there?
It is exhausting looking at these things pop up on here. I can't roll my eyes far back enough to express.
really?
Yeah, it's killing me.
Achievement unlocked. Achievement
Yeah.
unlocked. Here, we'll
Yeah.
start at the beginning. Chester is the first comment in the chat. Whoop, whoop,
Oh,
we're in.
shocker!
My man James Odak comes in with Buenos noches. Chester in the chat. What a twist.
What
Uh,
a twist.
He's adding the Spanish accent to that. It says James Odak says Dan got an expansion. I think we're talking about Cascadia Landmarks
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Yep.
When Dan brought in the expansion. And then Chester Wilson comes in a real red letter day.
Also in regards to Dan buying something. So
Oh, okay. So it's kind of a, yep. shocking that Dan bought anything. Let's see. James Odak says, I think the landmarks were the first come, first get bonuses.
Yes, that was the other thing they added that people really liked. Yes, that was it. Thanks, James.
Yep.
Let's see. Chester Wilson, I finally got off page 5 of the Earth rulebook.
Okay, congratulations.
Not sure.
Earth can be fiddly in person. I think we're talking about the terraforming Mars
planet.
Style. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Earth.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Earth. Let's see here. Chester Wilson. I once got up to 10 on Sequoia, and it turned into a dexterity game. That's the game company that you like a lot, Mike. The table game. The table company that made board games now.
Oh, the
All
game
play.
that makes board games?
All play?
No, they made tables and bags.
Oh, All Play.
All
Yeah,
Play.
Rob said it. All Play, yeah.
Yeah, All Play. They make a fun game called Sequoia.
Okay.
Let's see. Chester Wilson says, trademark. Yes, sir, you are. You are a gem, and no one else can copy you. He says, I only play solo. This is when Mike came in with his solo-only game. I only play solo when I'm playing solo.
Can you block him so he can't chat anymore?
What?
This is awful puns and jokes.
Word on the street is Mrs. Claus ain't messing around.
This is true.
We wrestle not against flesh and blood. That was a comment to my Ezra Nehemiah. He caught me. Okay. My man, he caught me.
I'm gonna need more weed to handle these.
That's CBD. Let's see, James.
Oh no, it's not CBD.
It's the real stuff.
It's the real deal.
Deliverance theme is Christian, but the gameplay isn't overly religious. Thank you, Odak, for that. Shelf of Shame equals 2 out of 10. That's Robert talking about a Shelf of Shame.
They're on the Shelf of Shame, yeah.
Let's see here. The app is partially narrated. I think we're talking about Father's Work.
From what I heard, the main parts or the story parts are narrated, but there are secret parts where people have to read it quietly. But yep.
Is Ben Maddox the narrator? All right, do we know Ben Maddox?
I don't know. Yes,
Over
Ben
my
Maddox
head.
he's a content creator. But yep.
Let's see here. James Odak. The key to My Father's Work is to use the same app to have the scenarios vary and progress. Okay, so if you're using the same app, it will vary. But if I play it on a different tablet, it may give me the same story.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's a good tip. And just a tip
thank you for that.
My Uncle Frank didn't speak a lot about his time in NAMM. Some of these games make me want to explore that theme. And Chester, I worked with a guy named Charlie. This was like early 2000s. I worked for Cash and Carry. Remember Cash and Carry?
Yeah.
I worked in their marketing department. I was the guy that translated all their ads. So if you looked at the ads that you got in the mailers,
they went out of business.
I was gonna say now it makes sense. Yeah.
Two and two together.
in the ads they had it would say beans, but at the bottom say legumes, right? Like the Spanish. That was my job. I'd go into the marketing department and then turn every word into a Spanish word. I'd be calling my mom, "Hey, mommy, how do you say?" Anyway, but I worked with a guy at Cash and Carry. Charlie fought in NAMM. Like quiet guy, never said a word, never talked about it. But then there's this one time he brought it up, scared the shit out of me. Period. Like I'm gonna say it just like that. Like he talked about a little bit of experience, and it just kind of freaked me the hell out. Like these guys went through a lot, which is what worried me about this game. Yeah. Dan, I know, like when they talked about it being an RPG, I'm like, man, this thing's gonna get deep because these guys came back with scars.
For sure.
All right, sorry, we got deep there. Thanks, Chester. Pronounce. This was my attempt to pronounce hegemony. Well, he helps me out here. He says, hedge yo monies.
Hegemony.
Hedge yo monies.
Close.
God.
That was close.
James Odak with my third favorite Lacerda. I think this is the On Mars comment. Rob doesn't play Lacerda unless he's playing Lacerda.
Definitely.
This is true.
Also truth, says Mike. Bonbon. I think this is a comment towards Rob's.
Bonbon.
How many years of French did you say?
4 years. But
4 years of French.
Enough. Yeah, Luthier.
And then that gets us to modern times here. Tulitum. So we're still trying to pronounce the T games.
Talitum. Talatum. Talatum.
Second day of Christmas, for crying out loud. I'm sorry. I've got to stop here. I've got to get in. You know what? Let me get this camera right here. Right here. Y'all with me here, right? Okay.
Yeah.
We're here.
Getting close.
I need y'all to understand this,
Too
okay?
close.
I know. No, right here. Okay. I know y'all like look at us Puerto Ricans like we're crazy because our Christmas lights are up to like damn near March. I get it.
Yeah.
Right? But Christmas season doesn't start until Christmas. My man Chester's right. Today is the second day of Christmas. You know that 12 days of gifts song that they sing? It starts on Christmas and it goes all the way to January 6th. So all of y'all that are taking your lights down on like today, right? Because you want to prepare for New Year's Eve party, you're supposed to celebrate all the way to January 6th. Baby Jesus didn't get his presents until what the Greeks call Epiphany, right? Here in Florida, in the Tampa Bay area, is celebrated, big Greek culture. Anyway, the 6th. That's when you're supposed to celebrate, okay? That's when you take your lights down after the 6th.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. We've been looking at Christmas stuff since before Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm over it, dude. We take our stuff down New Year's Day. That's when it comes down.
Yeah.
I'm riding my stuff all the way to March, baby.
Good for you, man. I think that's awesome.
Chad still sitting in the chat. The key to my father's work was just a Labatt Blue.
Labatt Blue beer.
Thank you.
Yep.
Works every time
Yep.
to drink
We got
beer.
William in the chat there.
Frosty beverage.
heck?
Yeah, he's up
Super
next.
Veda, my man. Ricans are crazy. He's one of them, and he knows it.
He knows it. Yeah.
I'm going to skip his second comment.
Oh, you don't want to put that one up there? Yeah.
Okay. And lazy.
And lazy.
He says,
Well-
lights down until the HOA gets involved.
That's about right.
Oh, my man William's on PTO right now for the holidays, and I need him to come over to get some games in. Like bring the baby over. You know, we saw wifey and the little girl here in November. We missed you because you were sick, William. But get your butt over here to the studio. Get some games played. Pick a Thursday or any day. Let me know what day you're coming. We will make it happen. Chester Wilson in chat. 12 days, my man. 12 days of Christmas. Okay.
What's the next topic, man? Come on.
All right, we were going to give you that's the comments. We went through all the comments, wanted to acknowledge all the folks in there. Thank you. We're not going to block you, unlike Dan. We're not going to block you. We'll give our honorable mentions. So some of the honorable mentions on games I want to play next year include...
Well, hold on. Who are we starting with here, man? You want to
Just the same order,
I will
right?
just give them.
Same order.
Okay, go for it.
But, you know, for me, my honorable mentions are Freelancers, Brian Baru. It can't, like, as much as I want to play it, there's too much criteria for Brian Baru.
Why?
Dan's leaving.
Dan's taking us for a walk. Yeah.
He's taking us somewhere.
Brian Baru is like, it's got to be the perfect people to play it. You got to like historicals. You got to be okay with trick taking. Like, where is he going?
He's got you
Probably pull it off
distracted.
the shelf.
He's going to go show his shelf. Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
left.
because I didn't make a list of honorable mentions, so I'm just going to look at some stuff when it's my turn.
There we
Oh,
go. I didn't know cameras could do that.
Move
he's
around.
got his laptop with him or something, right? I don't know.
Honorable mentions include Purple Haze,
It's
Okay.
my phone.
Glass
Oh,
River,
really?
which I heard is supposed to be like what's the glass?
River Valley Glass
Azul.
Works? Oh,
Glass River is supposed to be like
I don't know that one.
River Valley Glass.
River Valley Glass Works.
River Valley Glass. I'm
There you
changing
go.
the name.
The long version.
River Valley Glass Works. It's
There
supposed to
you
be like Azul.
Yes.
I want to get that one
a little
played.
bit.
War of Arrakis. It's on the list because I
Oh.
really desire to play it. I just don't know if I'll meet someone that will
It's a big
have
one.
the ability. It's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It's a big one. And then, of course, Andromeda's Edge was on there.
Oh, you had
Thank
that
you,
on
Rob.
there. Nice.
And
All right.
Purple Haze, thanks to Dan,
Yeah.
are all on my list. Dan, while you're there in your game room, what are your honorable mentions that you want to get played, games you haven't played 2025 that didn't make top 3?
Let's see. I want to get, I've had that for a couple of years too. Mike knows Lobotomy 2. I want to get that played.
Hell yeah.
The Seven Citadel, I have that sitting here in Shrink. I want to play that.
Nice.
I got a story about that later.
Oh, good. Etherfields, I have that sitting here that I want to play. Oh, Robinson Crusoe, I want to
Oh.
play that
Mm.
You want to lose?
because I got. Yeah, I mean, I played it a long time ago, but I got like the new updated
You got
Nice.
a
fancy
TV, right?
version now.
Yep.
And then a bunch of other stuff, but those were the top ones that I would mention.
All right.
Mike, any honorable mentions that that you weren't able to get to your top 3?
Yeah, I would like to get Role Player Adventures in. Now, that one I've played like one round of just to kind of get the hang of it, and I need to find that. You can play with more people, or I think you can play with more people. I think it could be 1 or 2 player. I just want to find like one person that wants to, because it's a story-based game, like it continues on. I need to find that one person that can say, yes, I'll be there every week or every other week, and we're going to play through this game. I need somebody that will agree to do that. But that's one. Undaunted 2200 Callisto, or whatever it is. That one I want to get played. What's that story-based one that you've been playing, Rob?
Destinies.
Destinies, I want to get played.
Good one.
And then finally that I got the 2.0 update for I can't even remember the name of it. Good Gravy.
Zombicide?
Good Gravy? I haven't heard that one.
No, yeah, Good Gravy. It's called Good Gravy. It's a dexterity game.
Gravy.
No, I can't remember the name. It'll come to me and I'll just shout it out later on. But
2.0 dexterity game. Come on, guys. We can figure this out. Let's go.
In this Gravy game.
It ain't Crokinole. It's not Carom. Can't be Class. Well, there was a 2.0. It was a circular board instead of a square board.
Dexterity game.
I know there aren't that many.
Game. I was making a joke about
okay.
Gravy.
I thought you were making a joke about the gravy, about trying to hold gravy. That's what I thought you were doing. And Carlos got me. I'm like, oh, hold on, was he serious about that?
I thought he was being real.
No.
He got me
it's
again.
About the gravy.
He got me again.
Trying to hold gravy.
All right, Robert. What are your honorable mentions?
I just got a couple, but Purple Haze was definitely on mine. So, but I told Carlos before. I know, like I say, I'm lucky to know Dan. So Dan's going to give me an opportunity to play that one. So we'll have to get a 3-player game of that and play through a. I love my campaigns. Carlos cannot do campaigns, but I'd love to play through the campaign. But anyway, we'll do that. Arkham, I wasn't kidding. Arkham, all the extra Arkham stuff, all the scenarios Dan and I have not played. We're going to march through some more of that this year, so I'm looking forward to all of that. For my own collection, Oathsworn is the big one in my collection. I bought that from Dan and this last year, and I've read through the rules a couple times. I'm looking to get that to the table and get that campaign started, find a group of people to play that, hopefully 3 others, and we can get that one going. And then Cthulhu Death May Die, another game I've been dying to play. I've owned that one for about 6 months now. I keep mentioning that I'm going to get it played, and I haven't done it, so shame on me, but that's one off my list. And then Robinson Crusoe, probably the last one on my shelf of shame that, again, Dan mentioned. He promised to teach me that one, so we're going to get that one played, and we'll go through that. So it's a refresher for him, but a brand new one for me that I've been wanting to play for a long, long time. So that's my list. So...
All right. I remember my last one.
Oh, he remembered it. Hold the music. Hold the music.
It was Isofarian Guard. That's the one that.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
You played the first one, then there's the update.
Yeah, I did the 2.0 update for it. I played one scenario just to kind of get the hang of it, and it's a 2-player only, or you can solo it. But
that's
it's
that MMO or MMO game, MMO style, like Battler, like a Fortnite style, like 2 people going at it, trying to control areas.
A huge campaign game.
No,
big campaign.
Which one's this one?
Very heavy story driven. You've got a huge map of like points that you would move to, and then certain things happen at that point. Then you can zoom in to like a smaller map that has other areas where you can visit, but it's heavily story based. And there's only it's 2 characters that you pick, and then throughout the game you're switching over to 2 other different characters, and again, it's a 2-player game, cooperative, story-based type of, big game.
Yeah, big.
1 or 2 or just 2?
You can solo it, but it's really made for 2 players. Yeah.
Cue music.
Phone lines are still open. 813-618-7099 is the number. Call in, talk to us about your 2025 games that you desire to play. Chester Wilson in the chats again. He stops me every time.
I'll stop and read all the chats there.
Eric Lang, who else? I should know.
Okay.
Speaking of Eric Lang, I'm going to go through my Christmas haul and talk to you all about some of the games that ended up showing up at the house for Christmas, either gifted or delivered.
Buckle up, people.
It's going to be a long one.
be a
If you want to interrupt me,
You're gonna
just
pull the rest of the hour with this, aren't you?
it could be. It could be.
Yeah.
Because call in, folks. Interrupt it. But here's one that came in and I got played. It's part of This Week in Gaming. Wrath of Fire Mountain. It is a title by Eric Lang and Phil Walker Harding.
Wah, wah.
Praise be.
Praise be.
There it is. I got a horn instead of the praise be.
I didn't know
Very
who you were going
interesting.
to. I was getting ready for the horn before you mentioned Phil Walker Harding.
I will talk more about this when we get to the Twig, This Week in Gaming.
Oh,
We'll talk about games we played. This one did get to the table already.
All right, you're going to take them and start stacking them up over here. There's 9, folks, just so you know.
Whoa.
This one's an honorable mention in here. This came to me from my son's girlfriend's family. I got them into some gaming, got some more games this year, and they sent me a copy of This Versus That, which is kind of like a party game, brackets. So it sounds a little interesting. I like brackets. I do like brackets.
Bracket.
Sweet.
I wanted to get these in here. These are games that I bought for my daughter, who is now 3. Haba just makes some great kids games.
These are not your games per se.
No, family games that made it into the Cabrera household.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right? And really, she's the only one I bought games for. I used to buy games for the boys. I really did. I used to. But it was almost like Homer Simpson buying a bowling ball for his wife. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know what you mean. Yep.
They realized I was doing it for myself, so I stopped doing that. But this is my daughter. I do need some younger games. She's 3 now. This is Unicorn Glitter Luck by Haba. It's a collection game. You're collecting beautiful little gemstones using dice rolls, trying to get sets together. And then
we had that at the cafe. That got played a lot by kids. The unicorn
Good.
one.
Nice.
I was struggling to pick. Haba has so many games.
Oh, yeah.
I was struggling to decide on what to pick. I'm glad to hear that. Now, what about
Animal
Upon Animal Junior? Any thoughts on that one, Dan, from the shop?
Nope, we didn't have that one. Sorry.
Animal Upon Animal is definitely a popular one, but
I see that one played like at Armada. I'll see Animal Upon Animal being played, but this is the junior version. The blocks are a little bit chunkier. It's made for 2 and up. You roll a dice. It dictates what piecings to get stacked. Don't knock them down. She watches us play Rhino Superhero a lot and really wants to get in, but that's just a bit too hard for a 3-year-old to play it. So I think that'll be a great hit. So those are some of the kid games that came in. Stocking wise, Robert, I think I want to get this one played with you tonight. This one is Tinder Blocks. Tinder Blocks is a card game, or I'm sorry, a small box game, very small. You saw the tin, by Alley Cat Games. They say over 100,000 copies sold. It is a dexterity game. No gravy involved, Michael. No gravy.
No liquid.
You're going to flip a card. It's going to tell you to grab either a rectangular wooden block, which is brown, or some red and yellow cubes. You're going to use tweezers to get them into a certain format, a certain structure. Then you need to place that structure on the communal campfire without knocking anything down. The next player will flip a card and do the same thing until somebody is out. You will get eliminated if you drop your pieces into the campfire or cause the campfire to knock over. Some of the cards have a symbol that make you use your non-dominant hand. Tinderbox, we did get it played. The kids thought it was hilarious. Very difficult to move blocks using tweezers.
I imagine, yeah. Not what tweezers are made for.
This one came in last week. I'm super excited about it. It was a review that I watched
Want to play?
on the Discriminating Gamer. I had no idea this was in existence. This is Star Trek Star Realms. It is a literal one-for-one reproduction of Star Realms, but using Star Trek ships.
Nice.
So all of the cards in this game are from the Star Realms game. So if you ever played Star Realms, they're all here, but they just now have factions from Star Trek.
Star Trek skin.
Period. It's just a Star Trek skin.
Sweet. That's cool.
Totally down for it.
Oh.
This was a P500 that arrived. It counts as a haul because it came in through the holiday season. This is the first expansion to Commands and Colors Medieval. It's called Crusaders. This is the one that fixed Command and Colors Medieval. I don't know what they were thinking. GMT came out with Command and Colors Medieval, right? They had Command and Colors Ancients, right? So they tried to, in their first starter base box, come to you with battles that occurred between the real medieval times. So it's like the Saracens, right? They started using horses. They weren't quite knights. Buddy, the grognard historian community like flipped its wig.
Lashed out.
Like, you called this medieval. I wanted War of the Roses. I wanted knights on armored horses. I wanted Sir Lancelot. And you gave me garbage, right? So this is supposed to fix this. This skips like hundreds of years and goes right into, this is 500 years later. It says right here, we jumped ahead some 500 years to the Crusades. So they skipped all the crap in between, went right to the Crusades. I have armored knights. I have knights in armor. They are now fighting Memoir 44 style in medieval, Command and Colors Medieval, the first expansion.
Sweet.
This was a surprise. Wifey found this one at Target on sale for like $17.99. This is Life in Reterra. I know that Chester was talking about Eric Lang. Yes, this is Eric Lang and Ken Gruhl. This is Eric Lang's another kind of like a store, big box store style game. I think this is really the key of this one is it's going to be only through Target, if I'm right.
Really? No.
I think this was only going to be through Target, maybe Barnes & Noble. But it's a tile lane, city building kind of a style game where you're building a tableau area, almost like a Carcassonne style, trying to put different regions together. I'm curious because of the Eric Lang piece to this and it being a mass market game. So Eric Lang making a mass market game.
I've heard some good things about it. Yeah.
Oh, it's got an expansion coming out next year.
Oh, wow. Expansion's at a big box store.
Already.
This is one I'm super excited about. One of Mike's favorite designers, thanks to the game Dog of War. This is Paolo Mori's Battalion War of the Ancients.
Nice.
This replaces his series that he had with Z-Man Games back in the day, Pocket Battles. Robert, remember I used to keep games in my pocket?
Yep.
Pocket Battle was one of them.
We played 'em.
And it was Pocket Battles was a series of war games you played on a table using small cardstock cards. The game literally fit in your pocket. They had Romans versus Persians. They had Elves versus Orc. They had Civil War, so you can have North versus South, and then you can just like intersperse them in any way you
Mix 'em
want.
up, yeah.
You can have the Civil War fighting the Orcs, right? This is his reintroduction to that series with more complexity, so it now has a more gamery feel to it. And then it's starting off in the ancient, so you're getting Romans, you're getting Celts, you're getting Persians. Like it's this is what I was super excited about. This Paolo Mori's Battalion War for the Ancients. Robert, we will play that.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to try it.
Sweet.
Looks good.
A couple of episodes ago, I reached out to my man
nice.
Michael at Armada Games, and asked him because somebody mentioned this game, and I asked him if he had a copy of The Mandalorian Adventures. He said he did, so I scooped up one of his last couple of copies and had wifey wrap it up for me for the Christmas tree.
Nice.
Because the kids, this is for the kids. I say that
For the kids.
I usually joke.
Right.
Okay, I'm lying. It's for me. But with the kids. This is for Poppy with the kids. This is runs you through the series, The Mandalorian. You get to play the different scenarios. I think it's 4 different scenarios that run you through the show. And much like a legacy style game, there are envelopes that you'll be able to open up as you go to add to the different scenarios so that when you replay it, you get new versions or new things. You play different characters in the Mandalorian world. This is designed by Corey Knizia from FFG Games, but it's published through Asmodee, one of their smaller design studios called Unexpected Games. But my understanding is the feelings you get from this game are of old school FFG adventure games. If you ever remember back in the early 2000s, your love of FFG and their adventure games, this is supposed to give you that feel again, but less dice, more Euro-y, because you're using cards to decide what actions you take. Don't break a threshold. It's fully cooperative, so you're going to take actions like move, attack, or to spy out something. But if you play cards and exceed the threshold of that action, you trigger bad things. So you have to work together as a team to kind of balance out those actions. The Mandalorian Adventures, I'm stoked.
It's supposed to be good.
So that one is your Homer's bowling ball there.
There you go.
Yes, this is Homer's bowling ball for Marge.
Gotcha. For the kids.
For the kids.
For the kids.
And then on the table today, no joke, on the table right here is Heat. Heavy Rain, the expansion. Robert and I are getting our first play in of this expansion using the Japan map. So here's the Japan map, which adds water tiles. If you start your turn on water, you pay an extra heat if you choose to downshift. So you try to slow down in Japan, you might die because it's Japan. It's always raining.
Is that the way that works?
It is.
Don't slow down in Japan.
It's always raining in Japan.
Or you die. Yeah.
Or you die. Yeah. Just get on through.
So Robert and I are enjoying that. We're almost done. We're, I think, one corner away from the end of the race.
Couldn't quite get it in before the show, but
we tried.
Almost.
But this is a good expansion.
I play Heat on Board Game Arena all the time, and I think they're getting ready to release this, or they did release the Heavy Rain on there too.
I think so. Yeah, I heard something about it. Yep.
So what does it change or add other than water?
All right, so it adds orange.
Orange
All
color.
right, I'm going to stop and just say it right here.
The color orange.
This is not a must-have expansion. This is an expansion that just adds a little more. So if you love Heat, it just adds a little more. So it adds the water. It adds chicanes. So chicanes are two corners that are about 1 or 2, sometimes 3 spaces apart. So you got 2 corners of the exact same number for the most part, and they're very tight together. You got to really math that out.
The exact same
because if
number
you
for the
cross
most
more
part.
corners, for every corner you cross in one turn, you're going to have to test for to see if you pass the speed limit, and each one will have repercussions. So you really try to math that out.
Yep.
So I don't quite understand chicane. Rob, can you do the hand thing one more time to explain the term?
Yeah, that thing. Yeah.
Is it-
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Yep, got it. Nailed it. Nailed it.
and then finally it adds a new mechanism. It's a bunch of airbox cards, and it adds a new symbol. The symbol is this one here, Dan. It's a purple droplet. It is super cooling. It lets you do everything that you thought you can do the first time you played Heat. Because the first time you cooled, you thought you can take it from your discard and put it right in the middle on your engine, but you were wrong. You had to take it from your hand to put it on the engine. Super cooling lets you cool directly from your discard pile into your engine. So it just gives you more ways to cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And a 7th car. You get orange. So now you have 7 cars. And here's an interesting thing I was showing Rob. On the Japan map, I noticed that there are 12 start spaces. So on the maps that came in the base game, they all had 8 start spaces.
Hint, hint.
They've released the 7th car, but they put 12 start spaces.
12 grid space. Oh, and on the for the rankings
Starting grid.
at the end of the
And
game,
even the
there's
rankings
12
for finishing,
spots
there's
for
12 spots.
cars. So I don't know if there we should read into that there will eventually be 12. You said there's currently what 7?
7 available cars right now because they added orange. I know that they had planned on 8. I had heard they had planned on 8, but now it looks like they might be planning on 12 cars.
Yeah.
So you might get a 12-car game. Now, I hope that doesn't mean 12 players.
Oh, of course.
Because
that take forever. You might as well take your turn, go have lunch, and then come back to play your second turn.
Well, they may be going the route of Thunder Alley, where you have a team of cars.
that would be nice.
That'd be cool.
Kind of like Flamme Rouge.
Flamme Rouge.
Flamme Rouge lets you run 2 racers at one time using the same deck, right?
Yep.
Right.
You run a ruler and a sprinter. Yeah.
I wonder if they let you draw more cards, but now you have to manage all those cards between 2 cars. That would be cool.
That'd be kind of interesting.
I'm going to do that my dang self.
Just do it
I'm going to
on your
buy a
own.
second copy of Heat
Of course you
No.
are.
just to
boy,
have
of course you
12
are.
cars.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
And
So
then
now-
The shrink in that'll never get taken off. But okay,
That'll
go
work.
ahead.
Yeah, that'll work out.
By the time the shrink comes off, they'll actually release that expansion that allows you to do
There
that.
you go.
Yeah, the shrink coming off that copy will be on the 2027 list of games that he wants to get
Games I
played.
want to play. What games I want to
Yeah.
get to the table.
wait, I didn't know that was an option that I can, because I got 2
geez.
copies of Rallyman GT and Shrink. Adding that to my list if I want to unshrink my extra games
Second copy
is an
Yeah.
option
Yeah.
What do you have 2 copies of that for?
in case I damaged the first
Might
copy.
need some extra dice. You know.
You,
go buy a
you know,
second
there's
copy.
stores that like have shelves of shit on them that you can buy if something of yours breaks, right?
Well, Holy Grail went out of business, so like
Okay.
they're not around. So I figured I'd scoop them up, kind of put them aside just in case.
Dan,
You know,
he made
there's-
damage to the game that he's never going to play, you know.
Of course.
He'll damage it when the shelf breaks because you got too much shit on it.
Could be.
This is the show, folks. Welcome to the Beans.
You
and
could
Dice.
stop all this.
Hey, everybody! That's just
You
gonna
have
be like
the
that.
option to stop all this, and it's easy.
Call in.
You just call in.
Call.
What's our next segment?
All right, so now let's go in the news. We're gonna talk about any news articles that you're choosing to highlight. I know I got 3 or 4 that I wanted to bring up. I don't know if y'all had any news articles, but one of the big news articles Mike brought up a little earlier is interesting because it was on my news for me. There's this whole thing going around with all these game stores that are no longer going to be providing Warhammer or Games Workshop, I should say, not Warhammer specific, but Games Workshop product. Like they're done.
Talk about this.
They're having issues with Games Workshop. Apparently the community went all up in a tizzy because there's a faction in 40K called the Custodies. So these were the men in 40K that never left Earth. All they did was protect Earth. They were all shiny gold armor, right? They've now created, they've kind of like retconned it.
They were the apparently highest level of custodians out there.
They were female custodians out there that we didn't know about. So kind of like what you talked about with The Witcher earlier in the show.
There you go.
Yeah.
But like nerddom like lost their mind. So that was interesting in the news that there are actual stores who've published on Facebook and other social media that they're just not going to, with the price hikes and all the issues of getting stuff in from Games Workshop, to them it's not worth being a Games Workshop provider. I wasn't sure what Dan's thoughts were on something like that because I know you did some Games Workshop.
Any of those businesses that are saying that because of what they did, they're deciding not to carry the product anymore, they're just lying. They're only not carrying the product if it's not turning a profit for them. If it's turning a profit, they ain't going to change anything. That's what I would do. I wouldn't care. If it's going to make my store money, I'm keeping it there. If it's not making money, it goes away.
Right.
How difficult was it to get product in? Because that's a lot of the articles talk about the distribution system that's set up and getting the customer service to these game stores, these local friendly game stores. How difficult was it?
I had absolutely no problems with them. I would, if I called my rep and wanted something, it was there within a couple of days, every time.
Interesting.
Are they trying to maybe predict the future that they're going to run into issues, or they know what they may know something as far as like future shipments and having issues?
There was a recent price increase in their product line again, and I think it's like the second or third time this year that they've done price increases. And we had I think 2 for sure, maybe 3 price increases over the time we were open. And I mean, manufacturing costs more, logistics costs more. I mean, if you're angry at the price increases, then you just don't buy it. I mean, I don't understand why people get so upset about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Dan. I think it's just let me ride this hype train that's on Discords and Reddits about these Custodies and make that my hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a weird one, and I don't know if I can share a screen. I'm going to try. There's this new-ish, I guess I would call it new YouTube channel. And it's November of 2024 is when they first got onto YouTube. And I found these rules discussions on there. And one of my favorite things about board gaming is learning new rules. I love deep diving into rule sets, mechanisms, like how games play, even if I never play them. So there's a new board game channel called GameBot Academy. Have y'all heard of that?
No.
I have not.
So it literally came out in 2024 November, and I'm listening to them. So I got them on. I'm playing them while I'm working. I'm playing their conversations while getting ready for bed. Just to pass the time. And it just didn't feel right. There was something that didn't feel right about these folks. Let me see if I can share my screen and audio here. It just didn't sound real. And then I did some research, and how do I share
When you
this?
say sound real, you mean like it was scripted, or it was AI like speaking the words or something?
All of that. Like it felt like I was really enjoying the conversation, But then there was these glitchy moments where I'm asking myself, am I talking or am I listening to real people?
Am I in the Matrix?
Right, right. There was that moment, like, am I jammed up in the Matrix here? I even commented on their videos, like, are you real? Like, is this a person, a couple of people with thoughts that they scripted out to have AI read? Or are you reading what AI wrote? Or is AI writing it and then reading it to me? Which is what I started to believe.
Okay.
Let me give some examples. So they just here we go. We got some videos that came up one day ago. Here's Root. I don't know if y'all can hear this. I'm gonna hit play.
No, don't play the audio. You'll
Don't play
get
the
hit.
audio.
Yeah,
I'll
you'll
get
get hit with the
okay.
copyright strike.
Y'all go on there. Thank you, Dan. I'm glad you're here. So check out GameBot One Word Academy. They've got all these videos about different games that I love. Andromeda's Edge, Joyride, Battalion. That's how I found them. Battalion.
Yeah, well, call's coming in. Yeah.
Beans and Ice Podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from? Did I miss it? I missed it.
You might have missed it. Yeah, ring 3 or 4
the
times.
Call
one-
back. Redial.
We know who it was, but his name popped up there.
Yeah, I think it's William. There it is. William in the chat.
In case of a fast pickup, we ask you to let us know that you are not a voicemail system, so you need to press 1 to take this call.
I will press one.
1.
Hello, William. Welcome back on the show.
What's up, man?
Merry Christmas.
I was listening to you guys were talking about the AI. I was like, oh man, Carlos is drowning. You can use AI for anything right now. We were messing around with it at work. We created songs with AI that you can actually sell on YouTube and make money off of it.
I'm not sure. Like I want the Beans and Ice community to check these folks out. Like check them out.
You're probably right. You're probably right. It's probably an AI generated something that someone probably just typed something up and said, "Hey, I want to talk about this board game. Here's a PDF of the rules. Create it with 2 different personalities. Go." And the AI will take care of the rest.
It did it. Like I feel like I'm not just listening to AI script, but I feel like the people are fake too. Like their voices, the cadence.
You can create legitimate, like Grammy edition songs with AI, and you can sell them online, and people will download them.
This is crazy.
That's how
I'm
crazy the market is right
now.
It's bad, man. It's crazy out there.
The question that I have though is like, how should I feel about this? Like, you know me, I love listening to people talk about rules, right? But then I feel like I'm being got, like I'm being shammed, like I'm not really listening to people talk about
you are
rules.
all the time. You're easy. You're gullible.
Gullible. Hooked in.
William,
cut me deep.
we should have William calling every week.
I'm trying. I got really, really, really sick for a few months, and I was studying for a certification exam, and it was bad, man. I didn't even do nothing. I since the Dice Tower retreat, my health went to shit. You know, it was bad, and then I would recover, and I get sick, and then recover, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do anything. Just I have a kid. Let me just focus on that. And then the one time I started feeling good, I get fucking pink eye and a flu at the same time.
Bad luck.
I retract my invite to my house.
Yes. Do not come over here. Do not.
No,
Yeah,
Do not
we got
pass
that.
go.
I'm fine now.
Do not collect
Were you-
I'm fine
$200.
now.
Where you been putting your face, man?
It's another show.
You know what it is? I have. You know what? My body does not get used to the fact that picking up a kid from daycare really fucks you up.
You know what? You're right. Like that is. I forgot about that introduction to. You added a petri dish to your house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have 5 petri dishes.
Yes, you do.
So my
So
immunities
Erica's
are built
fine,
up.
Erica teaches for a living. So
She's got
already
20
been
petri
exposed
dishes.
To that.
She's got all her immunity built up. Yeah.
So
I mean, when
Carlos,
she would come home and I would love my kid. Next thing you know, I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm sick again.
Don't touch your kid. Moral of the
No, I
story.
don't care. I'm
There you go.
I'm a love all over. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? I love it.
Carlos, I'm
So-
just going to cut in here.
No.
So for the 30 seconds that William has been on the phone, I go to GameBot Academy, the about, first sentence. Welcome to GameBot Academy, the ultimate destination for learning board games with the help of AI.
There you go. So they advertise
But
it,
they used, I read that. They used the word help, right? So, like, it didn't
No.
say by AI.
Oh, you're
Just
learning
doing
with
it.
the help of AI. So it's
And if
AI
you go to the first
are teaching
video,
you, they're helping you.
Right. If you go to the first video, which is the first one that they put up, the Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth. If you go to the only comment, it says, "Wish you could customize their voices," and the people on the channel said, "Totally agree."
Yeah, so they're admitting it's all AI.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I cannot listen to Skynet tell me about board games. I just can't do it. I'm gonna have to unsubscribe. I was really enjoying listening to them talk about the different mechanisms and how they work together and how they relate together. But to know that it's all fake, like, I would have to accept that the steak who's the guy in the Matrix, right? He's like, I don't care if the steak is a lie. I want the damn steak.
Smith?
Right. So Neo's friend, the guy who like piloted the ship and was betrayed him, his Judas.
Yeah.
His Judas. Like, he accepted. He wanted to be plugged in. I don't want to be plugged in. I'm unsubscribing.
Carlos, I hate to tell you this, man. It's out there already. You're gonna have to retract from society completely here in a couple of years if you don't want to be around it.
Yeah, heading that way.
It's everywhere already, and it's getting better and better.
As time progresses, it's going to be harder and harder to actually would I not know if it's AI or not.
I promise you here on the Beans and Dice channel, we will not allow AI.
We will not allow AI.
Oh, crap. He's a robot.
I use AI all the time to write the stuff that I say on here, so too late.
That was the
I mean,
AI
right
that
now,
said
is
it.
it kids are using it in college right now to help them write their papers, and
Yeah.
it's allowed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it gets crazy.
So you're going to have to deal with it. It's gotten to the point where us as a school district, we're looking at implementing AI in the curriculum because that's where everything's going to go in the next years coming up.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been AI Chat. You can go ahead and hit that outro music. We're good.
All done.
We're out.
Oh well, that's AI too.
Yeah, that was AI. AI.
All right, William, we're looking at 2025. We were talking about games that we really want to play. I saw you commented in there. I haven't posted it up. But what games, top 3 or 1, that you're excited to play in 2025?
Well, I just got the Rome game. I want to play that. So
Rome?
what are the rules for
The
that?
Rome game.
The Rome game. There's like,
Rome Total War.
oh, there you go. Okay.
So Creative Assembly, the guys who make all the Total War series games.
Yep.
They got one for Rome Total War, and the combat is done via a card system and dice, but one actually mitigates the other. So armies are kept secret, so I don't know what you carry as opposed to what my enemy carries, unless you use a spy. But you have to fight for terrain, and then after you fight for the terrain, then you fight for the flanks, and then you fight for the center. And depending on what my card combinations and what your card combinations, you can outright win or annihilate an army, and then you get victory points based off of that. I think the game goes first like 25 for a short game, 30 for a long, and like 35 or 40 for a really long game. But you can actually shorten the game as much as you want.
Have you gotten this one? Wait, this is you haven't played this one. You've read the rules, it sounds like, but you haven't played this one.
Yeah, I read the rules. It actually came with one rule book just to play the campaign aspect of it, and then it came with a reference manual just to explain each setup for each type of combat, because combat can be done on one-on-one or with ally support. And that's where it gets to kind of like, say, oh, well, I'm going into battle. I can go over to Dan. So, Dan, you want to jump on this? You want to get some victory points for free? Sure, here you go.
How many
All
players
right,
is this?
And then it plays up to 4 right now.
4 allies or like 1v1v1v1?
No, 4 people, 4 players.
4 players.
It's 1v1. It's 1 versus 1 versus. You're by yourself unless you choose to ally.
I'm curious to see how the
one
dice and cards will work together. I know you and I enjoy the Command and Color series, which uses dice to resolve combat, cards to resolve actions. But I know
The
Robert
cards are a
struggles
reference
with that.
to- The cards are the reference to the army involved. So if you have a skirmisher, he probably rolls a really weak die. But if you have a skirmisher versus a very weak and unarmed infantry, he's going to roll a better die, and it gives you the options for both. Cavalry rolls a really weak die on mountainous terrain. Cavalry roll a better die versus open plains. So that's what the cards are for that.
All right, I'm curious to see how that
And
one plays out.
And everyone who survives, I think like 1 or 2 battles, they get upgraded so they become veterans. So you carry veteran cards in your army. So, but there is a lot of spying and there's a lot of backstabbing with your agents. You know, you can go in and you can win a game either military, economic, or political. So you can win the game either way, and you can go completely one path to get your victory points, and then just win the game. So you don't actually have to dominate the whole map. You just need to get a certain amount of victory points and you win.
What other games are on? You said that was one. What are the other 2 that you really want to play?
I really want to play Vanguard. ISS Vanguard. I've had that for a while. I never even opened it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just sold mine straight off without opening it too. Too big a game. Never get to it.
Big game, yep.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But I got it. It was a kind of something that I might get for myself. And then obviously, I never got to play it this year, even at Dice Terror. I wanted to play more of Sekigahara.
Oh, I brought my copy with me.
Is it on shrink wrapped?
No, I've actually played this copy.
We played it. We played both our copies.
And I think we have it on video. I got compliments on that one. It's one of our most watched videos. Sekigahara, very light rule set.
We did get a lot of rules wrong, but I think we're pretty good at it now. So
good. It's got a lot of depth.
But yeah, I definitely want to play mostly those type of games.
All right. Well, you get healthy, number one, or you come over and play around with my petri dishes. It'll make your immunity stronger.
No, I am healthy now. I went around family. I was at dinner tonight. My father-in-law announced tonight he retired, so we did that. So he's done.
Congrats.
Yeah,
This
congrats.
is the last year working. So
Nice.
yeah, we went out to all eat.
Well, set up a day.
suggestion
Talk
for-
to wifey. Come on over. Get to the studio. Let's get some Rome Total War in, or some Sekigahara. I'm down for either.
Okay. Yeah, actually, if you look it up, the game came with an expansion where you can just play your battle cards, use the game for the army, and you can just play a one-on-one and just you create your own little army deck, and then you can just like simulate battles right there. You don't actually have to play the board game too. So it's an expansion during a Kickstarter. I'll bring both of those.
Nice.
All right, well, bring that beautiful family over here. You know you guys are always welcome.
Yeah, she's not going to want to come over to watch me to play board games. She'll get mad at me. So no, that's not going to happen. So it's either me or nothing.
Good to hear from you, brother. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Hey, watch out for the AI.
I got tricked, bro. I really thought, I was like, I wonder who these people are. They sound so cool. They really get the game. Like they understand the concepts, and they understand so many different games. And then I just kept listening. I'm like, something doesn't feel real about these people. Then I got creeped out. So that's why we're here.
It's they even had to amend some laws for CP because people are using AI to create CP.
CP.
So now,
Catch us up.
No.
Okay.
Don't
no,
say
I'm
it.
not going to say it.
Good night.
No, I'm not going to say
Bye.
it. But
Bye,
yeah,
William.
they actually had to do that kind of stuff. So that's how crazy it is, Carlos. So be careful, man.
All right, Baba. I appreciate you. Thanks for
Yeah,
making it a
goodbye.
phone show. Without you, it would not be a call-in show today.
No one else is calling. No one likes you.
That's how it usually goes.
Yeah, but now we're on like a
Everyone
watch
likes-
list and the
everyone
video's
likes Dan, everyone
demonetized.
likes Mike. Everyone likes Rob.
I'm going to
It's
replace
just-
me with an
oh,
AI bot and see how the subs go.
Hey, there's an idea.
He's already lying, people. He said he wasn't going to do it, and it's already done.
Good night, William.
All right. See you later, man.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, so Carlos, if you're talking about like deep diving into the rules and stuff, if you on BGG, there's I'll have to send you the link because I'm not quite sure what it's even called. I'm sure it's like a list, but this one guy, it's called Advanced Gameplay Rules, and he picks a game and he does deep dives on the rules and like where sometimes he picks like, well, there's an error in this area because, or not necessarily an error, but you can take advantage of these parts of the battle system because you can just spam this. Or he basically deep dives rules, and he's got a lot of games out there already that you can read about. Granted, it's not a video, but there are ways that you can just have like a website be read to you.
Yeah, with AI.
But
Yeah, there you go.
even before AI, they were doing
Jeez.
that.
I can't get away from it.
But it is written by, it is an actual guy that's writing this stuff, and you can do deep dives that way if you are so interested.
I am. I really do like those deep conversations into board games like that.
All right, I'll ping you the link then, so you'll be interested in that.
Which is interesting because one of my favorite another news article I had, one of my favorite game companies, Lock and Load Games, they do a series of war games that I have in all different themes, from NAM to Civil War to futuristic like 1985 World War III, hypothetical war. Lock and Load Publishing put out a newsletter this month, and they talked about that they are working with AI to teach their games. Their games rules are now downloaded into an AI system. You can ask it questions. It'll answer you. How many spaces can an M2 Sherman move in one action, and like it'll just like go through all their rule books and provide you an answer. So like even the historical wargaming companies are utilizing this AI stuff.
There's a site that'll do that now. I know they talked about it on Dice Tower not too long ago. I don't know what the site is.
Oh, yeah.
But, there's a site where you can go and just verbally, ask questions, and it'll scan the rule books of whatever game you're talking about, and it'll find, hey, here's an entry on page 37, and here's an entry on page 54, and your answer's probably in one of these spots or whatever. So yeah, there's a whole website now dedicated to that.
Well, with the Lock and Load publishing thing, that's a smart, ethical use of AI. It's their own material that they trained the AI on, and then people are asking questions with their permission on their copyrighted material. That's the way it should be done.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But what's sad about that is in that same newsletter, they go into talking about how they're shutting down their forums. Right, so because now everything is on Discord, everything's on Facebook, it's on these social media sites. So they were spending money, time, and people managing a forum, which is, Dan, you know how it is with these older wargame companies. The majority of their conversations, their how-tos, their player chats were all in their own individual forums on their website.
Yeah, they were, but I mean, just like anything else before the internet, we actually mailed letters to each other and stuff. I mean, things change. There's going to be there's going to be that point which we're at now where things are starting to flip to the other thing, and people are having a hard time with that transition or just angry at it.
For me, because I've left all the socials, like part of my 2024 was like, getting off all the socials, all the distractions that take me away from family and work. But then the companies that I would normally go to, hit their forum if I had a question on a rule, I now have to have the socials to have that same interaction. So it's kind of pushing you back into that beast of the social media, and how do you manage that distractions and balance that with your hobbies? That's for me to figure out, and you ought to watch live as I do it every week right here.
Gotta figure it out. Yeah, a lot of it stuff's moving that way. Yeah.
Those are the main news articles I saw this week that had me kind of curious and talking. Great to have William on. I know he's an IT guy in the IT world. Great to hear from him about his thoughts on the AI piece. Any news articles from the group?
No news for me.
All right. What about this week in gaming? Any gaming going on this week?
Mike's got it. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, Mike.
So this past Sunday, my wife and I are watching some TV, and she says, would you like to play a game? And I was like, what? You know, because she very rarely, if ever, suggests, hey, let's play a game. So I said, well, yeah, what would you like to play? She's like, whatever you want to play, I'll play. So when you have that kind of open-ended, you know,
Doesn't know what she's asking for.
it's like, man, you got to walk on eggshells because you
Yeah.
can pull the wrong thing off the shelf. And
It'll be last time ever.
so I originally was going to pull out, and I haven't played it yet, but I was thinking, oh, I really want to play Pan Am. It probably isn't that hard to learn. And then I was thinking, no, she doesn't want to sit there and wait while I read rules, you know, and stuff like that. So I went and grabbed the Seventh Citadel, and I said, would you be interested in playing this? And I kind of gave her a quick synopsis, you know, of like how the game, you know, plays. And she's like, yeah, I'll give it a try. So I was like, all right, you know, I had to confirm a few rules, you know, because I hadn't played in forever, and broke it out. We played the opening scenario. We ended up beating it by the skin of our teeth. And you know, at the end of the first scenario, you know, there really is no spoiler alert here or anything, but you're basically creating your base of operations per se, and you have some choices to make as far as like spending points that you gathered throughout the game to help build buildings, which will help you on, you know, later on in the game. But you do have like this 4-page, you know, gatefold type sheet where you are filling things in and marking things off. And we finished the game, and I said, is this something that you'd be interested in playing again? And she's like, yeah, I actually liked it. There wasn't too much thinking in it. And the game, I mean, you're really kind of reading a story and you're building out the map as you go along. So yeah, like we sat there and discussed like, oh, okay, well, this would help us later on in the game if we check this off and build that building. And so I think I may have a regular partner to play the Seventh Citadel with going into the new year.
Score.
And I'm very excited about this because this was, I think it was at the top of my list at some point. I don't remember if it was this year or last year. Like it was at the top of my top 20 or near the top. So yeah, I'm very excited about that going forward. Other quick plays I'll get into really quick. Played Flip 7 with the family last night after Christmas dinner. It was a hit.
Nice.
You can tell your friends your family's better.
Yes. My wife, it was coming down to the last turn. Graham, my grandson, had like 202 points. He was going to end the game on that round. My wife was the last person to go. She had like 89 points. I had bad points. We were kind of busting all over the place. So she's like, screw it. I'm going to keep going. Let's, you know,
let it ride.
She's up to like 5 cards. Like, oh, okay. You know, this is looking pretty good. You know, then she gets like a plus something. Okay.
Modifiers, baby. Bring them in.
Then she got the ×2.
Oh.
And then we're like, whoa, okay, this is getting really
slow down, mama.
Get serious.
Yeah, so she got 7 cards out without busting. She had the ×2 and, you know, some other modifiers. She ended up getting 114 points on one round.
Nice.
And she was short by 2 points as far as beating Graham. But it was like one of those like, you know, when that 6 card came out, we're like, oh man, this could actually happen, that she's going to come back, you know, from being under 100 points to winning the game.
Nice.
But yeah, that was a pretty exciting round of Flip 7. And then today I went over to Scott's. We ended up playing Rebirth, which is the new Knizia game that got delivered. Liked that game, pretty quick. Played Bus for the first time. Never played that before. Older game. I don't know if you guys have played that. Very cutthroat. It looks like it wouldn't be cutthroat, but you're basically creating routes and you're getting more buses in your line and you're delivering people depending on the time of day. You can stop time to kind of like screw other people over. So played Bus, and then the other people that were playing with us, they had to go, so it was just one-on-one. And I ended up playing Lord of the Rings: The Confrontation, which is basically, my friend said, you ever play Stratego?
Isn't that Dr. K?
Huh?
Reiner Knizia?
Might be another Knizia game.
Let me check it out. I'll pull it up. Lord of the Rings Confrontation. You keep going.
The Confrontation, yeah. So he said, if you've ever played Stratego, it's basically Stratego, but with Lord of the Rings. And so we ended up playing that. And yeah, it is a Knizia game. Knizia, Eric Lang, and Christian Peterson are the designers. It was actually really good, and it played very quick. Very easy game to learn. And yeah, I really enjoyed that one. It's not in print anymore. Supposedly they're doing another reprint of it. This one supposedly goes for a lot of money because it's out of print, but they are going to do a reprint here coming up. I think this coming year they're going to do a reprint of it.
Sweet.
So yeah, those were the games that I've been getting in for the past week, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of gaming. I mentioned the Advent Calendar, the Exit Series Advent Calendar that the family was working on. We got behind on it, so we're still working on it. But
has it gotten any easier?
Some of them are easy, some of them aren't. We've done a couple of them in maybe 5 minutes. We've been able to kind of put together the key on how to do it. A couple of them are pretty clever, cool. As you would expect, I think, with the series. Again, I recommend it if you're into puzzles and doing that kind of stuff. We've been stumped a handful of times. We're keeping track of the game doesn't tell you to keep track, but we're keeping track of the number of hints we have to take just out of curiosity to see how we compare at the end. With
Childers are not competitive people at all.
Oh, no, of course
not at all.
So yeah. So we're circling them when we have to take hints and things just to see how it shakes out. But it's been fun. So we're about 10 days behind at this point. So we're going to try to cram a bunch of them in before the
so
kids.
like a Puerto Rican, you're going to keep doing
exactly.
Christmas all the way into March.
Exactly. So we're going to get it finished before the kids go back to college. So holiday's been busy. So, a regular Advent calendar, you just open the door and pop the thing out. Hey, here it is. But, this one, some of these little puzzles are, 20 minutes of us sitting there staring at each other being like, okay, should we take a hint? Should we take a hint? I don't know. Is it time to take a hint? So we're probably a little too serious about it, but it's fun. So we're enjoying that. But that's been pretty much my game. And other than Heat tonight with the expansion. So we got that in. But that's been it for me.
Dano.
No, not a whole lot this week. Just a couple games of Cascadia. That's why we're talking about the expansion. And no, we're going to do Arkham Horror tomorrow. So I guess that's still this week.
Yeah, tomorrow night. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Just that purple haze on that table looks so
Yep,
tempting.
I'm working on that right now. Yeah.
Games
Carlos?
for me this week include Tinder Blocks. I talked a little bit about that one in my Christmas haul. That's pretty much all I had to say about it. Everything I said there is pretty simple. Wrath of Fire Mountain, my man Chris from also known as Pop and Tot, also known as Captain Gamer, had recommended that one to us, and I got it played. It is, in fact, my little blood rage.
Really?
It is Eric Lang and Phil Walker Harding. You are area controlling on this prehistoric world as cave people, using dice mechanisms like Yahtzee to get actions. Actions allow you to place your people on your units on caves or huts in order to bring them out on the table. Use the feet dice face to move them. Spend feet to move things. Spend eggs to put cave people on the hatchery. Once you have enough cave people on the hatchery, you can hatch a dinosaur. If you get that dinosaur, you pull the dinosaur and that card with its special abilities, put your little ring on it like Beyonce. It's kind of like the colored rings that you would get in Blood Rage to mark that dinosaur as yours. You get like a T-Rex. Whenever a T-Rex moves into a new tile, it will eat a caveman of an opponent. Those are the kinds of break rules that you would get from these monsters, right? And the goal is to have control of regions that are always moving because of the volcano. Tremors allow you to shift the landscape to try to set up these tiles into bigger regions. The bigger the region is that you control, the more points you get when the volcano erupts and you score it, but you also score for having control of the volcano. So it's like this area control, spend cavemen to get eggs in order to hatch dinosaurs, to get bigger monsters. Even the volcano, which is a big plastic volcano, kind of has this Yggdrasil feel to it. It's like the center of the board where everybody wants to go to fight. So like it really does feel like my little blood rage.
Yeah, there you go.
It's so cool. Wrath of Fire Mountain. I will do a beans once I get it to the table with Rob.
Yep.
And very good game. Beautiful tin from what's that company that does Forbidden
Game Right.
Game Right.
Game Right.
Like
There we
very
go.
basic
Yep, yep.
company, but their tins are now very upgraded. Very nice tin, very nice setup. I think it was only like $25.
Nice.
Like it dirt cheap price. Totally recommend it. 4 players, good times. Wrath of Fire Mountain.
Sweet.
All right.
All right. Any geeky goodness?
What kind of geeky goodness?
I don't know. Dan, did you see Nosferatu?
Of the other variety, the OGG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah, they queued up.
the tickets were sold out. We're going to go one of the days coming up this week, but we're excited to see that. I didn't want to sit at the very front of the theater. Those were the only tickets open.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And thanks.
It was very,
Was it
very
good?
good.
You've seen The Witch and The Lighthouse?
Oh yeah. Oh, I haven't
Okay.
watched The Lighthouse yet. That's high up
Oh.
on my list though.
Yeah. I mean, that guy hasn't missed yet. So that director.
Yeah, the cinematography in this, it's very definite homage to the original Nosferatu.
Nice.
Just very, very well done, man. A really, really good movie. I don't want to give anything away, but
All right.
everybody, the acting in it is on point. The cinematography, the switching back and forth between the black and white and color, and the shadow casting, and there's a few jump scares, but they're not cheap jump scares. Just very well done. Highly recommended. 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10.
Yeah.
Nice.
2 out of 10. Yeah. Thanks
Nice.
to was it last week or the week before? Wayne was talking about some stuff, and he mentioned the Day of the Jackal series.
Oh yeah.
And we started watching that the next day after he said that. I said, hey, let's check it out. And today we just finished it. We watched all 10 episodes
wow.
since
That was
last
sweet.
week.
So you liked it?
It's one of the best written, I don't know what you would call it. I mean, a hitman and then a cop's hunting him type of things, but
Mm-hmm.
the characters are like real people. They have real motivations and
Okay.
actually have feelings, and it's even him being a contracted killer, he's a real person instead of just like this faceless, soulless killer. It's an excellent series, and it definitely, the season ended when we watched it right before we got on here, and the writing is great because there will be a lot of things that happen in it that you don't see them coming. They aren't telegraphed like you see in a lot of shows.
Sweet.
Nice. Wayne in the chat says, "Glad you liked it, Dan." So he's on
Highly
board.
recommend it. Highly recommend it. It's on
It's on my
Peacock.
list. Yeah, it's on my list. I've got it saved in my list to watch it. So
Speaking of binging,
yeah.
season 3 of From was released a while ago on MGM Plus.
Just
And-
watched all that too.
My wife and I binged season 3 in 2 days, and some of the episodes in season 3 were kind of like, all right, that.
Yeah.
But they ended every episode with like your eyes were just kind of like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I gotta watch the next episode. It's so good. It's some of the best TV I've watched in a while. Very good. Highly recommend that one also.
From
Oh, I totally agree. We binged all 3 seasons in like 2 weeks.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. What about you guys? Anything over there?
No, I'm still all over Skeleton Crew. I know another episode dropped this week that I have not caught up on, but I got through episode 4. So far, still not disappointed. Really enjoying this storyline. Even if you don't have kids, like this is just a good, like brings you back to your childhood. I think my older son got to see Stand By Me this week for the first time.
Great
And
movie.
we were talking about that, like that kind of feeling of those kids' adventure movies that you had. That's really what Star Wars Skeleton Crew is giving. I'm gonna let that one continue. My wife introduced me, we were like looking for something to watch. She found a show on Hulu called High Potential. High Potential follows a single mom, I think like 3 kids, who's like an ADD. Kind of reminds me of me a little bit, like always learning, like always just random facts. I'm watching YouTube videos or reading documentaries about just like random stuff, but somehow that gets her involved with the LAPD. She's able to help them solve crimes because she remembers all these facts. So they hire her on as a consultant. You know, she tags along with this cop who doesn't want her there because she's just kind of like eccentric, you know, mom of 3, kind of nutty. But she just high potential. But she's got these, you know, she's, I remember watching a documentary on how that's made. And if that was this, then it would have this chemical in it. You combine it with that and it turns into this. And boom, she's helping to solve mysteries. So it's like really, really fun. Like I'm trying not to show my wife like how excited I am or enjoying I am of it. So I'm like, no, if you want to watch it, you could put it on. Because if it's more like a lady show, like it's, you know, like super lady, you know,
What's
like
wrong with that, man? Who cares?
Correct, which is brings me to my other item on the OGG, which is Mike's recommendation of 4 Christmases. So thanks to
yes.
we put it on while wrapping presents on Christmas Eve, and the laughter just would not stop. Like I completely forgot that Favreau was in it. The dad, what's his name? Oh my God,
Older guy. I know. Yeah.
yes. I don't know why I'm struggling. He was in Reacher. He was in. Anyway, there's a lot of people in here that you've seen before. It's just the family dynamics of these young folk who are trying not to get tied up in the whole marriage thing, and the dysfunction of their families. We had a blast watching 4 Christmases.
So when they do the play at the church, and what's his name is dressed up as Joseph, and just the one-liners coming out of his mouth that whole time. You know, woman, swaddle that child.
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, he's so good in that, man. Yeah, well, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah.
So yeah, and which again, Mike, he doesn't care if it's rom-com or not. He's gonna enjoy it.
Put it on his list.
You like it, you like it, man.
You and your wife might like High Potential.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to get the name again, because I think we would actually enjoy that one. Yeah.
At first, I was like kind of
together.
I was kind of making fun of it, like, oh, you're telling me this maid, you know, this cleaning lady at the LAPD somehow is able to solve mysteries, but somehow she's still a cleaning lady, and then it kind of dives into her, you know, neurodivergence, her ADD-ish, right? Like she struggles to finish things off, right? And I'm like, oh man, I really I resemble that.
Relate?
Yeah, I resemble that. Like, so for all those reasons, High Potential. That's
Nice.
That's my OGG for today.
Cool.
Yeah, my one quick one. I watched. Me and the family watched. It was just last night. I think we watched Red One. This was a new Christmas movie that was on Netflix, and it was pretty good.
The Rock, right?
The Rock was in it. Yeah. Santa gets kidnapped.
John Jameson, the farmer's guy, the guy that did Farmers played.
Yes, exactly. Yep, that one. He plays a buff Santa Claus. I mean, he's like benching 500 pounds, but he's got this whole thing that he's got to be fit and shape because of the all these superhuman things that he pulls off at Christmas. And so that one day a year, he kind of trains all year long. But the Rock is his bodyguard. He's the head of the security team for Santa. And so Santa gets kidnapped, and so it's all about. It's fun. It's got a little bit of action in it. There's a couple light fighting scenes that are family friendly. There's some good jokes, some one-liners. The Rock is becoming disillusioned at the very beginning of the movie. He turns in his resignation. He says he's not. People are so jaded and disinterested in Christmas, and the spirit's gone away. And then the whole movie, him having to rescue Santa, get him back, restores his faith in Christmas. And so, no spoilers, but
Wayne says it's better than he expected.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was Red One on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made my top 3 of the year when we did our top 3 list, but it was fun. It was a fun romp. I definitely would watch it again. So future Christmases, Red One is one I'd recommend checking it out. So good time.
Wayne's going to start Skeleton Crew tomorrow, he says.
It's on my list. Yeah, I got to watch it.
Let's see if any final chats in here that we missed. All right, so here we go. Chad Stilson says, even their logo is AI. Eye roll. He's a graphic designer. So poor Chad is competing with AI here. I didn't even catch that. Man, I'm still hurt. I fell for that trap.
Yeah, that's why you're never going to read that blog that Mike sent you. You couldn't even read the description of a YouTube channel to find out if it was AI or not.
There you go.
I'll have AI read it to me. Chester Wilson talking about William Dermsby German says Skynet is here and affordable.
Oh,
that's the sad part. Like everybody's using AI.
Yep.
Now, what if this channel that just showed up last month in a month, like exceeds our subs, by thousands,
Oh,
right?
it
Like,
sure
and
will.
they're getting, because I was watching every video, like,
Yeah.
that's just really going to bother me that a computer can just throw that together, put it out there, and
Get better.
Gotta get over that. Yeah.
Chad Stilson says, gonna make the kids use a typewriter to do their essays.
Oh,
See,
there you go.
teach your kids how to do cursive. I taught my kids how to drive a manual transmission.
Yeah.
We are gonna fight the system, Dan. We're fighting the system in this household.
You're living in the past.
All my kids have dumb phones, okay? That's just how it works. We're gonna fight AI.
And they
You'll
love you
lose.
for it.
Yes, they love you for it. Sure. Until they get out of the house.
They hate
It's
me.
all out the door.
We're opening presents at my in-laws' house, and my niece is getting like the latest iPhone, and my kid's holding this dumb phone that doesn't even have pictures come
Like
through.
the Nokia 3320.
Hey, your dad.
You'll appreciate it, kids. Trust me. One day you'll appreciate it.
Sure. They will.
Yeah, they'll appreciate it when they get one when they get out of the house and buy their own and be like, wow, this is great. I really appreciate how better this is than that shit my dad made me use.
Yep.
You know that line when when you're talking with your peers and you're like, "Oh, did you ever see that movie?" No, I never saw that. How about that TV? No. Have you ever been to? No. Man, you lived a sheltered life. Your
Yeah.
kids are going to hear that line over and over and over again.
I'm okay with that. I think I've accepted that. When they're grown, they can buy their own house. They can buy whatever they want.
That's it, man.
Well, that's us. That was our Christmas. This was the last episode of the years, guys. This is it. 2024. We're done with it. This is it.
2024.
So next week we're gonna come back with conversations about our top 20 board. It's really gonna be a show dedicated to that because I think we're gonna go long-winded.
Yeah.
Like normally I try to shut Rob down and kind of speed him up.
Go
But
deep.
we're going through our top 20. We're going to talk about every game on there, why it made the list, why it's staying on the list, and then nominate our Hall of Fames, which Mike, hopefully you'll have at least one.
Hall of Fame.
One Hall of Fame.
What's Hall of Fame mean
I'm
on
like-
the list?
Pick a game or four. I don't
Listen,
care.
Do
And-
not force me into your way of thinking. Damn it.
Your rules. Not gonna play by your rules.
Here, let me get the camera up. On our board, Dan, on the sides, you'll notice there's a few, three. We have three each right now. These are games that made our top of our list last year, and we know we're going to play them again. We know we're always going to love them. They're always going to clog the top of the 20 board. So we just moved them to the Hall of Fame so we can play them and not have to put them on our top 20. They won't clog our board. So games that you know will be back next year, just move them to the Hall of Fame so you can have a rotating 20.
Yep.
Gotcha.
That's our top 20 board with the Hall of Fame. We'll do that next week. Very important. Rob's going to pull up the Discord on it.
Yeah.
January 21st of January, I believe it is a Tuesday. Beans and Dice is working with the Tampa Gaming Guild to work with One Voice, a charity that takes care of kids with cancer. So these are young kids, 8 all the way up into teenagers and their family. They go to a school in Tampa Bay area where they get educated while dealing with cancer treatments. It's hard to do. We had them on the show a couple of months ago. They invited us out to teach the kids the game. So we did a game drive, bought a bunch of games for them. I sent them some games. Now they asked us to come in, Beans and Dice, along with TGG, to help teach these games. They're going to have a dinner for the gamers and the families and the kids, have everybody together. They'll have tables. We'll have a bunch of games there. You can bring games, and we're going to teach these kids how to play some of these games. So Wifey and I will be there. I'm going to bring some Flip 7. We're going to bring some Loop and Louie. We're going to find some titles that kind of range the gamut for kids, and we'll just get tables together and teach them games. If you want to know more about it, it's on TGG. Chris from Tampa Gaming Guild put it in the announcement. It's TGG and Beans and Dice. We're on board to teach games from 6 to 8:30 p.m. on January 21st. Dinner will be provided. Reach out to Chris in our Discord or the Tampa Gaming Guild Discord to let him know that you're going. I know Wifey and I will be going, so if you plan on attending, it says you must let him know. Marianne and the camp director needs a final head count. So if you're interested, Rob, if you can reply to that and let Chris know that Carlos and Melissa will be there.
Yep, we'll be there.
Rob, you'll be there?
I'll bring the family. Yeah, I think we're bringing probably the whole family. Yep.
Yep. Rob's going to teach brass Birmingham to the 8-year-olds.
To the 8-year-olds. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It was on his list to play this year.
Sweet.
I'm going to get it played one way or another. I don't care if it's 8-year-olds or 80-year-olds.
Sit down,
Yeah.
kids.
You're going to learn this game.
Take that loan. It hurts. I know. That's what we got going on in January. So on that note, we are the Beans and Dice podcast. Check us out on our Discord. The link to our Discord is in the notes of the show. Facebook, you can find us on Beans and Dice.
Yep.
If you liked what we do here, if you enjoy what we do here, and want to fight the AI, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Fight the power.
Fight the power. Hit the like button. Let your friends know about what we do Thursday nights live call-in show. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
Lieutenant Dan.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Dan out. There you go.